Yep.
All right.
Hello, and welcome to Midnight Metal. Robert Meyer Burnett and Dave Parker, they're fucking metal. Midnight Metal, Midnight Metal, Midnight Metal.
All right. It's Shocktober, ladies and gentlemen, or as everyone wants to say, Rocktober or Spocktober if you're Darren Dochterman, and Dave Parker's like, already a Star Trek reference. What are you going to do about it, Dave? It's Midnight Metal episode 88, but you didn't come here to see me, did you? You didn't. Some people say, well, why don't you just let Rob talk? No! You can't let me talk because this show is all about the director of the fucking Hills Run Red, of which there's only 88 copies. There was 92, but I bought 5. So now you can talk to Dave Parker, director of the Hills Run Red. Dave Parker, it's Midnight Metal, episode 88. You and I founded this crazy show. We've been doing it on and off for years. How are you?
Rob, I'm doing great. I'm happy to be here. I because you made that reference, it's going to be more talking over you the entire fucking show. That's
Fuck
it.
Yeah, dude.
Just done. Fuck yeah.
Dude, people have heard me talk enough. My God.
My hair is high and so am I. Let's go. We got a kick-ass topic and
my hair is high and so am I. Well, kids, this is Midnight Metal.
Hell
Fuck
yeah.
Are you guys feeling metal tonight? Fuck yeah! Or we can be like part of the Forbidden Zone. What? Both you and then one day your ass. Anyway, Dave.
You said both you and one day your ass when I was a kid.
I hope so.
I was like,
that's what I used to say.
God, that's kind of spicy there.
Why not? This is a spicy show.
He was going to get Jarrell's ass one way or another.
Well, you know, Laura, they celebrated International Women's Day on Krypton. Nothing wrong with that. Pegging's all in now. Oh, wait, what? Oh, that's a Deadpool joke. Or was it? No, it's Midnight Metal, Dave Parker. How are you? We are now in the Halloween season. Are you excited about Halloween this year?
Yeah, no, it's already started. It's been fun. I went to Halloween Horror Nights opening night like several weeks ago.
Oh, look at you, Vodio Do.
Little VIP treatment there. Well, I was the guest of VIP, so really wasn't me.
Well, was that the P. Diddy VIP treatment or a different kind of VIP treatment?
Not the P. Diddy one.
Okay, good.
You know, I keep hearing about these parties and stuff like that, and you know, part of me just feels like I really kind of missed out.
Maybe it didn't, though.
Maybe not.
When the names are leaked,
I probably wouldn't have been kicked out.
You know, but I have to say,
early.
You know, the advent of the smartphone, 2007. I mean, everything pre-2007, Hollywood was fun.
Oh yeah.
And I have to say, once people had high definition cameras, things changed.
Yeah, and did you hear? I mean, that was the thing. You know, I guess when he was throwing these parties and everything like that, he always had cameras around and stuff. I mean, he was just like stacking up blackmail material for everybody.
To not know that. I mean, that's why the entire all partying has changed. Because man, I'm glad. Perhaps it's better that I'm not married anymore. Because my ex-wife and I got up to lots of shenanigans.
And if we had cameras going there.
No, but that was the thing. I mean, you know, there was also a cone of silence kind of a thing. There was an unwritten rule that we're all out to have a good time. As long as you're not infringing on my good time and we're all having a good time together, it was all good. But to be recording people without their knowledge or all that was verboten. That was a party foul. That was a break. I don't mean to
such a grown up, Rob.
No, I haven't. I've only
How can I even say that with a straight face when you look what's behind you?
What's not grown up about this? What isn't? I mean, the toys are more expensive. What can I say?
That's true. The Dawn of the Dead board game, man. That thing's hard. There's a lot of pieces to that game.
It is hard, but you know what? That is it's right there, and it's still
OG.
sealed. It's still sealed. You know who gave that to me? Slave. Do you ever meet Slave? Brian Singer's friend Slave? Slave from New York? Slave who Slave gave that to me, and it is a prized possession of mine because my friend Mike Schertz, who my best friend in the world, who I grew up with, who I do crisis medicine with, he bought this. And we used to play this game. It's a board game, strategy game. We played Dawn of the Dead. It was fun.
It was kind of like Risk.
Yeah, it kind of was. You had the...
Kind of. I mean, not really, but kind of. It looked like it. It was a very complex board and lots of pieces.
Yeah, it was the mall. It was the Monroeville Mall. It was the mall from Dawn of the Dead. Harrisburg passed it about an hour ago. Just saying.
There you go. Let's see what else is going on to Halloween season. So I've done that. I've watched a couple things, though I haven't seen The Substance yet, which I'm bummed. I got to check that out. My friend E.L. Katz's movie Azrael is playing in theaters now.
I've heard that movie's great. Is that true?
Samara Weaving. I'm seeing it Monday afternoon.
I've heard only good things.
Check it out in the theater because it's a movie with no dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really excited to check that out.
Like Luc Besson's Le Dernier Combat.
Yeah, exactly.
Just like that.
I have no idea what that is. Last night I went to Beyond Fest, which happens here in Los Angeles. It's like probably the greatest genre fest. We have a couple. We have that. We have Scream Fest, which is also great. But Beyond Fest is sort of all encompassing. They had a Sam Raimi triple feature of Darkman, Quick and the Dead, and Drag Me to Hell, where Sam Raimi showed up.
Nice.
They had.
Did he say he was going to direct Doctor Strange 3?
I did not hear that.
It's rumored.
It's rumored.
Why not? It made almost $1 billion.
I don't think he should. I think he should move on.
Simple Plan 2.
No, I know he's got another one that Rachel
I would love to
is actually circling, a horror thriller.
I would love to see him do like a Drag Me to Hell kind of a thing, a ferocious.
Send help. I know people at Ghost House are trying to like push him into doing a Drag Me to Hell 2. Or a follow up of some kind.
Something original. Come on,
but
Sam.
Yeah, so he was at Beyond Fest, and then the other night, Spider One, which is Rob Zombie's brother, is directing movies now, and he's got a movie called Little Bites that's out, and Cher showed up.
Really?
Because I guess she's a producer on it.
Wow.
In a weird way. So this is the type of thing you get at Beyond Fest. You just get these crazy people just end up showing up.
Was Barbara Crampton there?
Barbara Crampton is always there.
Barbara Crampton's so hot. She's been on this channel, by the way.
She has.
Yeah.
I've heard it.
Of course,
she's lamented me in my career a lot.
I feel I should have. You know what's funny? I feel bad because Jeffrey Combs is, of course, a part of True Noir.
Yeah.
And I should have hired Barbara Crampton.
Well, she's busy. You never know.
She is. She is busy.
What else? So last night, former guest of ours, Matt Mercer, who co-stars in this movie called Jimmy and Stiggs, which was made by Joe Bagos. He made it over a 4-year period in his apartment, and it's this crazy in the vein of Peter Jackson's Bad Taste and everything. And that premiered last night. That was a wild ride for sure. An acid, neon-soaked, coke-fueled rage of a movie.
Right up my alley.
So yeah, so that's very cool. And then we've got, it's only October 5th. We still got shit to do. We still got a lot of things to do and cover. But Rob.
Dave.
When
you stop and use my name, I'm always scared what's come out of your mouth next.
You know what? The true success for a good October or Shocktober or Rocktober.
I didn't say Rocktober, but yes. What is the true success of a great Rocktober?
You need fucking killer tunes.
You do need killer tunes. And what if you had multiple albums of killer tunes?
Killer sounds, even.
Might we have a guest to put on the show that could address the idea of killer tunes in some fashion?
He might be able to undress it for us if we ask him nicely.
Really?
Bring him
Well,
on and find out.
do you have? Well, don't just bring him on.
Oh.
I mean, is there an intro that you could possibly
Our
maybe
next
give
guest.
our guest?
Yes, our next guest is a prolific writer, actor, producer, director, musician. He has created the musical Slashed. He has written All That We Destroy for Blumhouse. He wrote Giallo for a little Italian filmmaker called Dario Argento. He's written a movie for Nick Cage.
Really?
Yep.
It's Sean Keller.
It's Sean Keller. By the way, I just want to point out that yes, Severin did send me my brand new box set of opera, apropos of nothing. Just saying, they had to replace a disc. Welcome to the show, and of course, Sean, I have to ask you a question. Are you feeling fucking metal tonight, dude?
I was born fucking metal, Robert.
That's exactly what I want to hear. Welcome to the show. Yeah. So now that you're here, now that you've gotten an introduction, Sean, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Dave did a good job of it. I'm an actor, screenwriter, and singer-songwriter, and I spent many years making mixtapes for people for Halloween, as we all do. And as the years went on, they got more elaborate to the point where, I started doing this bullshit.
What is it?
All right, so a couple years back, like I said, I was going through the motions of making another Halloween playlist for my friends, and I was like, I'm starting to repeat myself. I'm starting to use some of the same Halloween songs over and over. When you do this for like 20 years straight, not to betray my youthful good looks.
You're pretty youthful.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it.
Look at that head of hair. Come on.
Yeah, I appreciate the sentiment. But doing it for that long, I realized I'm starting to run low on songs, which is stupid because there's a fucking billion Halloween songs out there, But me being an idiot was like, well, I'm running out of songs. And so I had this weird idea. I'm like, what if I just made a mixtape from an alternate universe where it's 13 original songs by 13 completely fake bands, all in different genres, intercut with commercials for fake movies and ads for fake Halloween candy and all the things that someone would put in a Halloween mix just from an alternate universe, from this fake world I created.
Okay,
and so
that's
I created that.
pretty fucking cool, dude. Come on.
And I made it. I called The Killer Sounds of Halloween, and it was deeply inspired by
The Hills on Red?
WNUF Halloween special. That the way they approached that film, I wanted to approach the mixtape, with that sort of eye for accuracy and that really leaning into specificity with genre. And I did it not knowing if it would land, because it's weird. I'm like one of one making these things. I don't know of anyone else trying to do this weird world building thing.
This is now how do you even approach? How do you start to do something like that? Where do you begin?
Blind arrogance, just thinking I can. When I did the first one, I was like,
I've been a musician for a long time.
Yeah. I've been a musician for a long time. I played in a lot of bands. I was a singer-songwriter for a long time, and I've written for a lot of different people in my life. And so I've always loved genre hopping. I've really hated staying in one kind of band. I was in a rockabilly band in the early 2000s. Like I bounced around to a lot of different styles. I currently have a country band called Sun Season that is myself and Liesl Hansen as a male-female vocal duet with an acoustic guitar between us, and that's it. It's like perfectly sweet. But I've done a lot of music and I do a lot of different musical styles, and so this was a challenge of how many could I do.
Wow.
And then on subsequent albums, it becomes, well, what do I not know how to do? Like,
so did you go into the studio? Did you bring in other musicians? I mean, how long did it? I'm just fascinated by what you did here. Like, did you write all the songs first? Were they workshopped in a studio? So you wrote the lyrics and everything first?
I write everything on an acoustic guitar.
Wow.
And so I'll write the whole song out, chords, and lyrics and sort of structure on acoustic guitar. I'll then like play the bass on the acoustic just so I know it, and I'll record it to my phone, and I'll just make all these little notes to myself, and then I have my son record it for me up in his bedroom.
Wow.
My son is in a stoner metal band called Deep Fried Dynamite. They fucking rock.
That's an amazing band name.
Yeah, they are really, really, really good. They've landed on a couple like German lists of best stoner metal. So he's been recording music since he was like 5-10 years old. Like he's been doing this his life, and he's gotten pretty good at it. And through the course of doing these albums, we've both refined each other's skills really hard, because the genre hopping and they're really trying to be specific to like the production styles of the time. I play all the instruments, and I sing all the songs initially. My voice is still on most of them, and I'm a backing singer on almost all of them, but it would blow the illusion if every song sounded like me.
Right, sure.
So I had to just bring in other people to sing. And that's when it sort of hit me that I should bring in my other friends in the horror world. And so there are horror writers and directors and actors all over these albums. Some of them who I know had done musical theater, but have never been in a band or never recorded an album, like gives them the chance to be a rock star for, 2 hours while I coach them through singing a song. And that sort of expanded, and people come in and be going, well, I want to be in the next one. And I'm like, yeah, sure. What do you do? I've gotten really
amazing.
Lucky. I'm not what you would call a great musician. So I slog through this, and I do have a couple of friends who are far better than I at things, especially when it comes to the metal tracks. I've got like 2 metal tracks at least per album. And Sebastian O'Brien gave me the shred on most of those. He's in a band called Low Octane. He's a novelist. He's a screenwriter. He's a podcaster. He's this great dude, and he rips on guitar in a way that like I don't know how to do. I could write all the chords, and I can play all the bass and program the drums and make it sound decent, but I can't make that shit sing. I need someone with actual like magic in their fingertips to do that shit. And so he did that for me a bunch. A guy named Bruce Vane is on my new album doing the Motley Crue ripoff song. And he is like made of shred. He sings it too. He's like he's from a band called Crimson Rose, and he's a real metal stalwart. He's in that Sunset Strip vein. He fucking rules. And he's been bugging me to do something. So
how long, first of all, how many songs on the album? Each album?
There's 13 original songs.
Of course there is.
Album.
Of course there is.
By 13. Yeah, that's how it starts. It's like, what's the concept? I'm a screenwriter. So it starts with the big dumb concept. All right, it's a mixtape. How many songs? Well, 13. Duh. And then it's how many songs before a break with something. So it's like 3 songs, then a little interstitial, 4 songs, then an interstitial, 3 songs, interstitial, 3, and then like a beginning and end. So like, what are the bookends to each one of these? So it's like writing a screenplay. It's an outline, and when you're making a mixtape for someone,
sure, but
creating structure's important.
What is the entire production time from start to finish for each one of these records?
Typically, I would start like in earnest writing the songs in May.
Wow.
And spend, a good month just writing the songs, because you're going to write some duds, and you're going to write some ones you go, nah, not good enough, or not Halloween-y enough, because that becomes like the bar that I have to set.
Okay, wait a minute. I got to bite on this. What is Halloween-y? You got to define that, and could you use examples of existing? What are some of your favorite, when you think of a Halloween tracks, what comes to mind? What are your favorite Halloween songs?
There's
Halloween-y. I'm just like,
you said Halloween-y, dude. You said it.
You could go down so many roads with that right there.
Oh, I always write that these are albums to tickle your Halloween-y. Like there's no denying what's going on here. But to be Halloween-y is to be overt. It's when the novelty song has the wind in the background, and the added screams for no reason. It's when the metal track says the words Halloween, or says that, shouts something at the goddamn devil. It's when a an old time 1940s thing is all about someone being decapitated. That's what makes it Halloweeny. It's that one step into novelty that makes a song like Thriller. It's got Vincent Price in the middle of the fucking thing.
Right.
It's a novelty song. And so it's when things hit that level, that's when it really tickles me. I also love the weird stuff on the outside. You can't make an album of just that or mixtape of just those, because then it gets boring. Then you got to go, all right, and then there's got to be a weird outlier here and there of different weird genres. So that's the struggle, is for me to find the weird outlier, because I'm a pop structure guy.
Right,
and
sure.
So figuring out weird outlier songs means breaking my fingers, basically breaking my style, breaking down the things I know how to do and going, all right, well, I'm going to do the thing I don't know how to do now. I'm going to teach myself mandolin and ukulele for this song. And, I'm going to, try to figure out banjo for this tune. I'll do things that I just don't know how to do. And that's the fun. It's scary. Makes it
amazing. Amazing. Now we have 3 covers for your albums.
4 now.
The
fourth
now.
One just came out.
Well, I don't have the 4th. I only have 3 covers. But
all right,
like we got this cover, Revenge. Actually, I guess the first one, but the Revenge of the Killer Sounds of Halloween. I guess I don't have them in order. Then we have the Killer Sounds of Halloween, the final chapter.
That's number 4 that just came out.
Oh, that's number. Okay, and then we have, of course, the Killer Sounds of Halloween.
Yep. And in between, there's one called Killer Sounds 3D that looks like the Creep Show poster with that ghoul character, and that's my clearly my final chapter poster rip.
Oh, of course.
And so that's keeping it in theme.
Can everybody get these albums? And where, Sean? Where can people get these albums? I am.
Where can you get them digitally if people want to get them? But can you get them physically?
We do not have physical copies yet.
What?
We are purely digital because I'm doing this stuff for nothing. So I put it on Bandcamp.
I get it. We won't hold you accountable.
I have zero budget on these. This is done with me asking friends to come over and sing for me for free. And there's not much expense put into it. I charge the satanic price of $6.66 for this jam-packed album. There are 4 of them. They're only on Bandcamp. You can get them at my Bandcamp page, which is Sean Keller 2 at bandcamp.com. God,
all right.
Damn you, Sean Keller 1.
Everyone go to Sean Keller 2 because, one time at Bandcamp, you can get...
Wow, Rob, where'd you pull that one out?
Don't know.
One time at Bandcamp.
Jeez, Rob.
Come on, Dave. What do you expect? It's this is not high art.
It's midnight metal. That's a dad joke if I ever heard one.
Oh, wow. Well, I did. We did take Zoe to her birthday, her 24th birthday, and I, paid. So that was fine.
Did you pay for her to move out too?
No, she's going back to college. She might be moving on to campus, so she's doing good. She's in between. It's all good.
I've got my son who produces my shit is older than she, but lives at home and produces my shit. So I kind of
but that means he's doing something.
He's doing something.
He's not just playing video games, smoking a blunt all day.
No, he's paying rent.
There you go. No, but this is really exciting. I love this idea. Once again, here are these albums. Go to Bandcamp, Sean Keller 2. And this is amazing. And I love that. Now, let me ask you this. What are some of your existing, like when I think of Halloween, the first thing that comes to mind, which is not necessarily a Halloween album, is the Damned's Phantasmagoria that has like the song Grimly Fiendish, which begins with a harpsichord rip. And, people say, well, that's not the real original lineup of the Damned, Rob. I'm like, I know, but I'm thinking a Halloween record. What are some of your favorite previously existing Halloween songs that people might recognize or know?
Well, I'm a huge Cramps fan. So basically their first 4 albums every one of them is amazing. And having seen them live is one of the coolest fucking concerts I ever saw. I love them so much. So those albums, I listen to a lot of soundtrack albums. I got the soundtrack to Freddy's Nightmares over my shoulder.
Yeah.
I at Halloween, it's I listen to a fair bit of Rob Zombie, because who's more Halloweeny than fucking Rob Zombie?
That's true.
Love him or hate him.
Oingo Boingo's pretty Halloweeny.
And Oingo Boingo is pretty Halloweeny, and I'll bounce through those. I got a couple of years back one of these like, now that's what I call music. Now that's what I call Halloween.
Did they
And
really?
It's so good.
Those are great. I didn't know they did that.
It's got every old school banger you'd ever want. So if you are throwing the Halloween party and you don't happen to have the 4 killer sounds of Halloween, then that's what you need.
That's amazing. Wow.
But that one's really great. I've got all the weird sound effects albums too, and I listen to them a lot. I mean, growing up with those was, the thrilling, chilling sounds of the haunted house and albums like that really imprinted something deep in my soul. You are a courageous, that voice leading you in. It just creates such a world that's Halloween to me. I had the book and record of the Haunted Mansion.
Yeah.
And side B of that was the first half of side A of the Thrilling, Chilling Sounds of the Haunted House. So it just as a kid, I listened to the whole thing. Ooh, I want to go to the Haunted Mansion when I somehow leave Virginia, and then flipping it over and listening to that and just be like, oh fuck, now I'm scared. Just the cats had me scared and had me feeling like I probably shouldn't tell my mom I'm listening to it. I felt that sense of taboo for the first time, and I liked it, and it's like, ooh, that whole concept of that thing you shouldn't share with your folks that you enjoy when you're young is crucial to growing up.
Oh yeah.
And it's crazy too, because that album is young Ron Howard is the young kid on the record.
It's true.
I love that. That's so great.
You can, I think you can. I think they recreated it on CD with the book and everything else. Now I think you can get it.
Oh, did they? Oh, how
think
great!
You can get it for those who haven't heard. It's the Story and Sounds of the Haunted Mansion. I think it's called.
Yeah, I've got it somewhere on one of these shelves, and I can't quite reach it. I grew up with book and records, man. Those that's how they taught me to read, and the G.I. Joe one with the mummy's tomb that influenced a song on one of my killer sounds of Halloween where I did Beware the Mummy's Curse, and I literally just put needle drops, holding my phone up to the speaker, going, all right, I'm putting down the needle on this part of the G.I. Joe adventure, just ripping it off and putting in this song, because I'm so those things are the fetishistic bits that make a holiday, that make you really tickle for it.
I mean, I'm working on this audio drama now, and then one of the reasons I wanted to do it was I was a huge fan of the CBS Radio Mystery Theater. And I listened with E.G. Marshall, and as a kid, I listened to that every night at 10:07. It would come on, they'd do the news, and then at 10:07 they would start it. And what was interesting,
because you were there before television, so.
Well, no, I couldn't have been, because one of the things I recognized that I came to recognize about the CBS Radio Mystery Theater is because it was CBS, they scored those episodes with all the tracks from the Twilight Zone. Right. Because CBS owned the Twilight Zone music, and whether it was Bernard Herrmann or Jerry Goldsmith, and it was something that I came to realize, oh my God, this is Twilight Zone music. And it started out with the creaking door and the music, and it was, and I learned they had episode titles, Charnel House. I was like, what's a charnel house? Yeah. I'd have to go look it up the next day.
All those are, you can find.
They're all online. They have a website
on YouTube. Yeah, they're on YouTube.
Every single one.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. They're great to fall asleep to.
Yeah, and they had great actors and good stuff. I mean, it's interesting. I wonder, being that I'm deeply involved in making this audio drama that's 7 hours long.
Oh my gosh.
I just wonder, is there an audience? And I know people are listening to podcasts, but this is a fictional, and we're approaching it cinematically. But like you said, I loved my Power Records. Power Records did Star Trek, they did Marvel Comics, they did Planet of the Apes, and Power Records presents. and it would come with a comic
Hulk
book.
at
And,
bay.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I love those.
Yep.
Yeah.
Captain America and the Falcon in, and a phoenix shall arise. You know,
The day
and
the clown cried.
yeah, all that.
Or the Laughing Dead.
Yeah, the laughing.
Okay.
Yeah,
They did
The
a
Clown
Man
Cried
Thing.
is a little different.
They did a Man Thing one, a Werewolf by Night,
Wow.
Tomb of Dracula,
yeah.
and a Frankenstein, too, as well for Halloween. They're great.
I mean,
Those are great.
it's interesting that like now. I mean, I guess what's so great is most modern cars come with great audio systems, and so if you're listening to on YouTube, I'm always surprised that a lot of podcasters now have great audio. People have surround sound and look, I'm hoping from your mouth to God's ears or whatever that our audio drama will catch fire and hopefully people will like it so I can make more. But the idea of audio dramas, and I love what you've Halloween concept albums where everything is you made it up. That's fantastic. What a great I love that idea.
Now, is there a style or a song style that you haven't tackled yet for Halloween?
Oh yeah, of course. I mean, because any style can have a Halloween song, or at least can lend itself to a place on a Halloween mix. So sometimes, like this new one, I did a new metal track. I didn't know how to do a new metal track.
Wait, not like new metal as in NU metal or a
as
new
in
metal?
like NU metal, as in like it's Linkin Park and Korn and Bizkit and Evanescence blended all up. And it wasn't shit that I listened to. I didn't grow up with that. I openly mocked it when it existed. But because I hadn't done it, it forced me to go down the rabbit hole of giving it a chance.
Nice.
Where it forces me doing genres that I haven't worked in and have previously, been a dick about, forces me to confront my own biases about music and really just confront songs on a song basis. And so I had to find my love for new metal to make a new metal song. I couldn't just do it with disdain. That doesn't work. It won't translate. No one people listen to it going, ugh, I mean, he's just being a jerk.
Sure.
And the whole point is to do everything with a sense of love, where I don't know if it's ever going to find a big audience, but I want the audience that gets it to feel loved. I want them to feel like I'm reaching out and going, come on, come do Halloween with me. And so that's the big concept behind it. So I had to so for a new metal track, I didn't know how to do it. I had to you do play it in drop D. And I did an emo track, and I hadn't really, I'm like, what makes Midwest emo different from other emo? I'm like, I have an open tuning and a capo and these kind of open strum chords, and just finding my way around these songs and then playing with them in a way that I already know song structure for, and letting it sort of rip. Now, I said previously that I usually start one of these in May. This year I started the end of July. And so I gave myself a deadline of 18 days to write 13 songs, and I did this year. And so I'm like, okay, because I had to go on a vacation in the end of August for 3 weeks. And so I knew I was going to be interrupted in the middle of it. So I did this whole album in about a month and a half. And that's playing all the instruments and making all the arrangements and all that shit. And so this one is the most punk rock. And so I gave myself 3 days for the new metal one, and I did it first. I'm like, okay, this is going to be the hardest one because I don't like this. So I have to do it. I have to figure out how to like it because I know a lot of people love it. I know it's getting popular. So how do I teach myself to love it? Watch a shit ton of YouTube videos, tutorials,
Well, that's the greatest thing ever.
How they produce it. Yeah. God, if I had that when I was a kid trying to learn how to play guitar instead of just picking up the needle and putting it back on the record over and over and listening, I would be a much better guitar player than I am now.
No, it's insane what you can find out. Now, let me ask you, I think a genre of music that I really closely associate with Halloween is rockabilly.
Yep.
And do you delve into the rockabilly format on these albums at all?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, rockabilly is sort of a second skin for me. So I've got one on the new album called Mad Doctor that's a pretty ripping psychobilly track.
Yeah.
I did one. I did It Came From Outer Space on the first album. That's also very psychobilly.
Nice.
you know, that rockabilly, but with the sci-fi garage rock organ sound, you know, that kind of over the top. Like that's what makes it Halloween. Going just one step, gild that fucking lily. Go one step further than taste dictates.
I love it.
And so I try really hard to do that, and then also make it feel like it was real, though. Like it was really created. It's never mockingly. Like it's always about, you know, I did like a doo-wop song, you know, like try to do a Phil Spector Wall of Sound, which as a single person in a room is really, really hard to do a wall of sound.
But ambitious. But ambitious.
And so you try these things, but you do it with love. One of the hardest things I did a live Kiss track. Like I wanted it to sound like Kiss Alive doing a Halloween song. So I did a fake Kiss band and wrote a song that's just like a Kiss song called Happy Hallow Fucking Ween, and then tried to produce it to sound live. And so I brought in like 10 people into my living room and set up mics in 5 different places and had them clap and sing along with the song.
Are you married?
Yes, I am.
How's your wife with that? Oh, good.
She did it with me. She's on the albums. My wife, Chelsea Stardust, is a horror director. She's in all the way, man.
So she's that's so cool. So it's an entire family affair.
Yep.
Which is what Halloween should be. I've always said Christmas is a family holiday, but you know, Halloween's the best family holiday.
Yeah.
You know, the family that parties on Halloween, if you party, you know, that means you guys are together in Satan, which is lovely.
Yeah, well,
it's fantastic.
Taking the kids trick-or-treating is like such a great scary safe. You know, you've got mom or dad with you, and you're out later than you're supposed to be. You know, again, it's that taboo, but it's that family protected taboo.
Let me ask you something. I mean, you having kids and stuff.
Yeah.
Dave and I don't have kids of our own. How do you... You know, me neither. I mean, how do you feel about Halloween? I mean, obviously, Los Angeles, Southern California, Halloween is very important here. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. I think the two biggest cities first of all, New Orleans is the ultimate Halloween city. I think Los Angeles is probably number 2, maybe. How do you feel as a parent? Because I think you should lean into it. I think the more satanic, the more evil, the more scary, the more monstrous you can go with Halloween, the better off your children are.
I agree, and also lean into history.
Okay, all right.
Big time. Like I teach them, you know, the history of Samhain, and the fact, you know, growing up Irish, I can, you know, lean that into my kids and really say, no, this is a ancient tradition. This is the night when the line between the living and the dead is at its thinnest, and you have to respect that. That's why you dress up as something scary, not as something pretty and cute. You dress up like the dead, so the dead don't think you're alive and take them away with them. And so
were you rooting for Dan O'Hurley as Connell Cochran in Halloween 3 to actually win?
Not necessarily to win.
Come on, man. Come on.
You know, I do delight at the end of The Wicker Man. I am like, yay, they win. It's true. It's the greatest moment ever. It's such an affirmation of faith. It's like the end of The Witch. It's an affirmation of faith. I love this.
So good. The Witch. The Witch might be the greatest modern day Halloween movie of all time.
Oh, get out of here.
Dave, come on.
Trick or Treat is better. As far as...
You mean Mike Doherty's Trick or Treat?
Yeah.
Okay, no, because it's too twee. The Witch.
But Halloween's also very twee. You know,
yeah.
It's
our way of celebrating Halloween is twee.
The Lords of Salem, more Halloween than
Oh, come on. No. The thing is, Halloween, and
it's more metal, Rob.
But I'm with Sean though. Sure. I'm with Sean. At least, like, the thing about The Witch that makes it so Halloween is Black Phillip. I should have worn my Black Phillip t-shirt.
Yeah.
It's not
Black Phillip. Live deliciously, dude. Live deliciously.
I do.
Yeah,
so do I.
I'm a true hedonist in that regard, and I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah. Black
yeah,
Phillip,
I mean, you gotta, and that's what saves The Witch, because, you know, it could be relentlessly serious, but at the end of the day, you've got Black Phillip, man. Come on.
Yep, I love it. I think it's glorious. But it, you know,
another modern
Halloween
movie
is
that's way
it can be anything
way
for
more
anyone.
Halloween than The Witch. Tales of Halloween.
There you go.
Oh, okay, but that's a little on the nose.
Which I also have a song in.
That's right.
And by the way, we have to let's point out, give credit where credit is due. It's not on the fucking DVD or the Blu-ray, but Dave Parker directed Sweet Tooth, which is the opening segment. The opening segment. The opening segment of Tales of Halloween, which, by the way, is a delightful Halloween movie. And what I love about Sweet
Sean,
Tooth.
you got money for it? Because I haven't seen a dime.
Well,
Well,
what is money?
You went.
Yeah,
no,
but
I'm snapping for you for like, yay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that was the.
It's like we're at a new folk concert. You snap instead of clap. You know.
Oh, yeah. What is this? Being a bucket of blood, for God's sake?
No, but you know what? I have to say, Sweet Tooth is a great. In my mind, I only have one friend that I've known for a long time that's created not one horror hero, but two.
Yeah.
Babyface and Sweet Tooth.
Babyface.
There you go.
Come on, man. How many people?
Just
Which, by the way, were driven by your vision. Both of those characters were driven by your vision.
They're both fun. If you haven't seen Tales of Halloween this season, you're looking for spooky, fun, little gory.
It's fun.
Check it out. It's pretty much free. Every streaming place has got it for free. So
Yeah.
And The Hills Run Red. There's only 88 Blu-rays left, and it's out of print.
I need to order some.
Dude, I had to order 5 more because I realized I only had one. And
yeah, I have one. I have 2. I have one sealed.
Yeah, I had to get more.
Once they're gone, and it's $15.99.
$15.99.
All right.
Yeah, shameless plug. We made a movie,
albums are $6.66,
and you can get them on SoundCloud at Sean Keller 2.
Bandcamp.
At Bandcamp, not
Oh
SoundCloud.
wait, that's why I said Bandcamp.
That's what he meant. and Tales of Halloween. Free.
What I say?
Hills Run Red, $15.99. You can't get it any cheaper.
Nope. That's
By the way, I mean,
Even
it's
eBay. It's more expensive.
It's a deal at twice the price.
it's the most self-indulgent Blu-ray of all time, and we're damn proud of it.
Awesome.
There you go. So now that we've given Sean 40 minutes to, and by the way, not enough, but here's one of his albums. I don't have them, and here's another one, and here is another one.
All of that album artwork is by my awesome brother Keenan Marshall Keller, by the way, who's a comic book illustrator and writer.
Well, I'm sorry I don't have the fourth one. Dave only sent me 3, so I apologize.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No apologies. But now, Sean, do we have you for a little bit more time to discuss? Because you're in the industry, we're going to talk.
Yeah, man.
We're going to shift.
Creatively Bankrupt. We're going to talk about the wonderful world of Creatively Bankrupt. The what I dubbed the IP problem, the intellectual properties problem.
I like to call fraudulent creation.
That were and look, and there's obviously good and bad to this. I think this weekend, many people think with the intellectual properties that are brand new this weekend, we're not on such an upswing because we have the new Salem's Lot and we have the Joker 2, which how do you say the subtitle for Joker 2?
Folie à deux.
Yeah, folie à deux. It's deux.
Yeah, folie à deux. Everyone's going folio deux.
No, it's folie à deux.
Yeah, exactly. Bunch of uncultured motherfuckers.
Which, by the way, is the title of an X-Files episode that's really good. Just saying. I just thought I'd throw that out there. That was the first time I ever heard that. Which means, the term means a shared madness between two people.
Yes, folie à deux. I learned it in French class.
Well, there you go.
They looked at me and said, "You have that. You have a shared madness with many people." But yeah, we were looking for a topic to think of and stuff like that, and it's just sort of, Sean, I know you can agree. I certainly feel a lot these days too, because I'm more on the independent end, and I can't afford to license books, and books I think are IP that are actually like more worthy and valuable,
and they're even out of favor as well, because it costs money to license the books, and then somebody has to write a screenplay.
Right. So it's not like I can go, oh well, and I've tried. It's like, oh, I really like this old paperback horror novel or
The
something.
Woods Are Dark.
around,
Richard Lehman.
Sure.
Just saying.
And that becomes difficult. But the bottom line is then you try to like sell it to someone, they go, well, we've never heard of this. What's the tracking on this and everything? And it's just sort of like, but we get these things that are really kind of unnecessary. I think it's like, do we need another Salem's Lot? We've had 2 iterations of it already.
Well,
done. And look, I don't even think the people who made the Joker really wanted to make it, except that here's a truck full of money and here you go, make whatever you want.
But I would
know, and just to be totally transparent, I have not seen Joker 2. Rob has.
Here's what and Sean, I don't, if you disagree with me, please chime in, because this channel is all about sharing opinions, whether they're diametrically opposed to us or not. But what I find storytelling to me is incredibly important. And I believe in what I always say, the authenticity of storytelling. And when stories are true to themselves, and we as the audience can immediately pick up whether they are or they aren't. It doesn't matter what genre it is, but if a storyteller is being truthful, and I think we as horror fans, I mean, I, as a small child, because of Twilight Zone and Star Trek and Outer Limits, I started reading dark fantasy. I mean, Richard Matheson wrote Twilight Zone and Star Trek episodes, and the first, I think the first horror novel that I ever read was I Am Legend, and the second was the short stories of Stephen King's Night Shift. Those are the 2 books that were hugely influential in my life. And one of the things about I Am Legend, and one of the great things about, I think, which by the way led me to all the sexually explicit and horribly violent British horror novels like early James Herbert and Graham Masterton and all that. I mean, I fucking love that shit. I can't tell you how many times I masturbated to chapter 5 of James Herbert's The Fog. Just so, I mean, when I first read, I'm like, the most sexually explicit thing I'd ever read. I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. I was like 11. But what I found interesting about all of that is horror is literary, yes. And so is science fiction. It came from literature. And whether you're talking about going back as far as Mary Shelley and the postmodern Prometheus and all of those ideas, is the literary, the sense of dread, Edgar Allan Poe, all of that stuff was literary. And to me, to truly understand horror is to be a reader, is to go in and to understand the words and how dread was concocted through literature, through the words, and Vincent Price in Thriller, in the middle of a song, a pop song, suddenly he's giving you a Halloween rhyme.
Yeah.
I feel that's so important. And especially Halloween, I've always thought is a very literary holiday, because we do have so many so much literature is the basis of Halloween.
Yes.
It reminds me, blending the 2 worlds of rock and music and literary. There is a great album. I don't know if it's on iTunes or not. It's called Closed on Account of Rabies. And it is Edgar Allan Poe stories, and it's read by Diamanda Gallis, Iggy Pop, Lou
Christopher
Reed.
Walken.
Christopher Walken does the Raven, I believe. It's
great.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was fantastic to me. I mean, I hear what you're saying, Robert, and yes, it is literary. And those early horror films, and a lot of horror films still, and sci-fi films are adapted from those. And then when they're popular, then sequels are made from those, just like the Universal Monsters had a million of them, just like the Joker's spinning them out. Like, we can't expect Hollywood. You say that, like, to know horror is to know the literature of it. Yes, absolutely. Which means you also know that Hollywood can't ever deliver what that is, no matter what. So you're always going to be disappointed in what they make, unless you see them as different things. Yeah, IP is the name of the game in Hollywood and always has been. They don't make what the audience needs or deserves. They make what they can make money from, and always have. There is no time when the studios were like, you know what, let's just be risky, except when the artist owned a studio. And that was a short-lived thing that went away. United Artists was great, and then it was gone. And so this thing that I think you're chasing, I think doesn't exist. And it's just that when you're older, you see the seams in it worse. If you're a 13-year-old catching this material for the first time, and these are the things imprinting on you as a young person, you're viewing it with completely different eyes. And so that would be my like little bit of dissent in this argument, because I don't want to fall into like grumpy old mandom.
No, not at all.
Hollywood has always been fucking Hollywood.
No, but
come to our side.
No, but what? Well, hang on a second. But what I would say, but what I would
teach college, I got to stay young.
what I would say though is, I think of all the genres in IP, horror has been the most truthful, because the people that have been able to do like look, Friday the 13th is not high art. It's not. And yet, or neither is Nightmare on Elm Street. But if you look at the first 5 Nightmare on Elm Street films, the people that made those movies, Rennie Harlan, Stephen Hopkins, Jack Shoulder, of course, Wes Craven starting it all, I would say the people that work in horror are always trying to innovate, even within an IP. You know, I mean, if you look at the Nightmare on Elm Street genre, the first 5 films are pretty fucking dope. And in terms of they're doing different things. People, I mean, Dream Warriors, Nightmare 3.
Frank Darabont.
Well, he wrote it, but it was directed by Chuck Russell. That's a pretty, actually, and of course, Jack Shoulder made one of the great queer horror films of all time with Freddy's Revenge. I think that horror as an IP, especially sequel after sequel after sequel, offers a really great opportunity for filmmakers and writers to innovate within that thing. I'm not saying every franchise is innovative, but the Nightmare, I think the first 5 Nightmare on Elm Street films, I think all of them are very worthy. You watch those films and they all have great delights to find within them, because okay, Dave.
What? You're excluding Freddy's Dead?
No, I'm not. I'm not.
You're excluding New Nightmare?
No. I'm just saying that the first 5. I see the first 5 films as
terrible.
Okay.
Look, it's got its fans.
I just mentioned the first 5 because I think they're of a piece. They're like a symphony. And I think the first 5 films have a certain zest and verve to them. And I think horror does lend itself, because traditionally it allows young up-and-coming filmmakers who are given more of a leeway because you're not spending a lot of money. Like, I'll tell you this. I haven't seen Smile 2. I've seen a lot of the trailers. It looks pretty fucking good. I'm like, and I don't love Smile, but for what it is, it's innovative. It was fun, but Smile 2, I'm like, you know what? And same director. But we have horror franchises. I think that A Quiet Place is another franchise that has acquitted itself well over 3 movies. Horror has done quite well. Look, I'm desperate. I can't. Please, somebody make The Substance 2.
Yeah.
Please, somebody make The Substance, because
we'll
my God.
We'll see if she allows that to go forward. But
I mean, she did have. You open it up, there's like 10 people there. You know, there's 10. Yeah. And I just wonder, because the risk is small. You know, the problem is Hollywood is dealing with $150 million franchises shooting for $1 billion. But the great thing about horror is the returns could be large on a very small investment. So it allowed for young, innovative filmmakers to start in that. Look, Rennie Harlan, Nightmare 4.
Yep, Prison before that.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right in that horror does two things that way. It's horror and sci-fi are both of the same vein in this, and they are the sugar that helps the medicine go down. You can say all kinds of things within the context of horror and sci-fi that if you were just saying it overtly in a drama that was contemporary, people would say, "Oh, this is preachy." But you can get away with it in horror and sci-fi. You can layer in social messaging because people will swallow it because of the genre. And it always has been that way. It's always been a very political genre. It's been very open to letting new ideas in. And then also, you said because of the budgets, things are kept low budget, which means you have to deliver on a certain level of cliche. So as long as you hit the cliche beats, everything you do in between is up for grabs. And that's where you get really stylish shit, because you have to satisfy the needs of a horror film when you're making a horror film.
Right.
It's got to have scares. It's got to have, a certain pacing. There's certain things that if you don't deliver, you're just going to have an upset audience that went, man, what was that? And so you don't want that. So you can't be innovative all the time, and you can't subvert every cliche, because if you do, you lose audience satisfaction. But if you subvert a couple of them, and then nail the ones that people really want, and then do weird shit in between, you can be really innovative. And you're allowed to do the weird shit in between, because that's not what the fucking producers are looking at. That's not what the financiers are looking at. They're looking at the beats, And if you nail the beats, the in between you can go kooky with. And that's the thing I've learned as an indie film producer and writer. And it's one of those things that I really teach heavily in my film class. I teach at AMDA, and over the summer I taught horror film production at USC. And so these are the things I drill into my kids, is that you have to know your cliches, because you have to be able to satisfy some of them in everything you do. You don't have to satisfy all of them. You can subvert several, but you can't subvert them all. Because if you do, your tone will be something that the audience doesn't know how to digest. And that can be great for art. And if you can make it for like $100K, sure, make fucking art. But this is a commercial business. You have to find an audience, even if it's a small audience, even if it's a niche audience. That's an important part of this business. If you want to be a novelist or a painter, go do that. You can not have to listen to so many goddamn notes. But here there is an audience need that must be satisfied. And having worked on unsatisfying films over the years, having been forced to work in bad IP, I was brought in the last minute to work on Hellraiser Revelations, which I'm like, that just irks me, because they're trying to make Revelations biblical when it's the book of Revelation, singular, and every time it's plural and something, I go fucking crazy.
Art directed Hellraiser Revelations.
He tried to.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a winless. You couldn't win that war.
Beginning.
It was doomed. It was done specifically. Like, we were told on a Thursday that they were rolling Tuesday before 10 a.m. or they lose the rights. And so in 2 nights, can you rewrite this script? And so it's just, we're doing triage, and that's all Victor could do was triage. It was a doomed project. And having worked on doomed projects like that and others, you see the things where, like, they didn't even hit the cliche. They were trying so hard to be clever that they subverted shit in a way that now you don't enjoy it. That's why a rote Friday the 13th can still be really enjoyable, because they always nail the cliche beat you need. They're never great, but they're always the same.
But I would say this. I mean, the greatest theatrical experiences of my entire life was seeing Friday the 13th 3D at the Town Theater in downtown Seattle with an audience, call it an urban audience. It was, and those are the only movies that I would go see with people that talk back to the screen, because the level of clever comebacks was as good as the movie. And
that's great.
It was it literally blew the roof off the house. People tore off they tore the doors. They literally blew the doors off the place. And it was an incredible experience. And I think, look, the Friday the 13th movies don't have a lot of substance. No. What you want were kills. And Friday the 13th Part 2 was hampered because people started to censor shit because of Siskel and Ebert, and Fangoria was more gory than the Friday the 13th that we got on the big screen. But Friday the 13th Part 3D was. But what I am more interested now is IP has become the driving force in Hollywood, where they're going to spend $150 million to 200 or more, $200 million chasing that $1 billion.
Yeah.
And like we've seen now 2 films from auteurs. I mean, I'm going to call, Todd Phillips an auteur, and we have Coppola's Megalopolis. Not an IP film, but we've got Joker, Folie à Deux in theaters, which I don't think there's ever been a movie that's been rejected by audiences or critics more than that film has been rejected. And what I find interesting about that is I thought, watching it, it's not what anybody wants from a Joker movie, but as a film, I was like, this is an audacious, beautifully composed, and beautifully made bit of cinema. But it's not what anybody wanted. And yet they got $200 million to make it.
Yeah, he's adding like umbrellas of Cherbourg into Joker. Like, who wants that other than the weirdest cineast?
But this is the guy that made the documentary Hated, the G.G. Allen story.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, if there's one filmmaker in Hollywood who you can say is punk, I used to think like Alex Cox was punk. Nobody's more punk than Todd Phillips. If you watch Hated, the fact that he's been given 200, you go from Hated. By the way, if you kids haven't watched Hated, go watch Hated.
Oh, it's so good.
And then you go to the Todd Phillips one from Hated to making Joker 2. To me, Joker 2 is hated. Of all the $200 million movies that are made, it's the hated of $200 million movies.
Yeah, that's yeah. There's a mania in Hollywood right now for the big home run, in a way that's silly, that's destructive.
It is destructive.
This IP should be made. Yes. Should Joker 2 exist? Should Folie à Deux exist? Sure. Should have been made for that much money? No.
Why wouldn't they make it for another $65 million?
Yeah, make it for the exact same budget as the first one.
I mean, because everybody. Well, if you want to make, I think no one wanted to make it. Everybody soaked the studio to get as much money. Here's what. Now let me ask you this: as somebody who's worked in the industry, worked on films. So Warner Brothers makes $1 billion on a $65 million initial spend, not including marketing.
Yeah.
It's one of the most profitable studio films in the last 25 years. So you look at that and you think, okay, we're going to spend $200 million to find that $1 billion payday.
Yeah.
Which every movie's it's its own business model. I mean, you cannot expect. Joker was an anomaly. It was crazy. It was like, and yet the studio's like, no, if we make another one, it's a sure thing. It's like, are you fucking kidding me?
Now, the lesson that has not been learned is like, oh, we should make more things in this size.
Exactly.
That's all. I mean, I am not against the relentless IP because that's all we grew up with. We're talking about like how many Friday the 13th movies? Relentless IP is what we are accustomed to.
But those are movies that were made for a couple of $1 million.
Throwing too much money at anything is foolish. There are no working filmmakers that I would give $100 million to right now, except maybe Denis Villeneuve. Because what people tend to do with that is just get self-indulgent. And that's where you lose everything.
I also think people don't know how to make movies anymore.
Well,
the amount of money, the amount of money that's being spent on films is ridiculous.
I disagree with people don't know how to make movies. I should say the level of studio interference that happens that creates a bad movie.
I should say, and I'm speaking purely of the amount of money that movies cost. I think that they throw everything by the kitchen sink at, like, they need to, because everyone doesn't. Let's pare it all down. Let's go Kubrick style. Let's bring a small team in and do the work. I think people are doing really innovative, creative stuff with not big budgets.
I mean, I think that's the thing.
That's indie cinema.
I think the point that you're making, Sean, probably goes more towards this argument about IPs. It's like, I'm not an IP hater. We put something up.
We love IPs, just so we know. We love
put it
IPs.
up as a topic to hopefully get people to watch, obviously. But, to me, something like Joker 2, boy, it would have been, I wish, for example, just as an example, like, I wish Strange Darling had come out earlier.
Oh, my God.
So they could have gone, let's get that guy to do Joker 2 and let's see what he does. Finding these interesting people. It's like, Todd Phillips, you've already done it. Let's bring something new into it, which is what they were doing.
Which is with horror IP.
That's what they used to do.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We get less and less of it. We get Terrifier now and everything. And that's and it is what it is. And it's probably the third one comes out next week, and it's going to probably be the most successful one to just continues to grow, which is indie success story on a level that any one of us would kill to have,
for sure.
But to me, that's the thing, because everything is so expensive now, they would never take the risk on like a JT Molnar to do the Joker 2, but you would get such an interesting new interpretation of it. It's just that these specific IPs, the comic properties for sure, and to an extent the toy properties of like Transformers and G.I. Joe and all these things, they're so vital to the companies that they're afraid if they don't spend 150 to 200 million dollars, then they're going to have a weak movie. And the thing is, it's a weird thing where it's like, I mean, these always feel like movies in, maybe not Joker 2, but a lot of these movies feel just they're movies they feel like movies by committee, where you're not getting that singular vision, where the things that really work, like when you get a Christopher Nolan, you get a Denis Villeneuve, you get someone who has a vision that's really bringing it, and that's the thing that people respond to. And most of these are just like, here you go, here's your script, and here's your whole team and everything, and you'll have the best tools. But it's funny because, and I'm sure this is very deliberate, but look at the Marvel movies. They all look the same.
Oh, extraordinarily deliberate. Yeah.
They all look the same. But even when you get the comic books, it's like, well, they have different artists. There's a different flavor to them and stuff. And sometimes you get a Sam Raimi who comes in on a sequel for a huge movie like that. And you get some of his style, but even he felt like he was hampered by.
Yeah, they're serving the corporate beast. Yeah,
right.
That's a situation
but it's so
practically
much more
unwinnable.
Right, but it's so much more interesting when you just kind of let these guys, who have certainly proven themselves, just go.
But I would say that I would say that Marvel, for the Infinity Saga, call it the first 23 MCU movies,
had a vision. It was Kevin Feige.
Well, Kevin Feige would hire somebody like James Gunn, who had only made $3 million movies. He made Super, he made Slither, and Kevin Feige gave him $150 million. And because he knew that James Gunn had worked for the studios, he could play ball. But the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie is unbelievably James Gunn, 100%.
Very much.
Yeah,
and Kevin Feige was a very smart motherfucker. The Russo brothers hadn't done anything. They'd done Welcome to Collingwood or whatever the hell they did, and they'd done. But Feige was like, those guys, and if I could find guys who would come in and work with us. And the Russo brothers, I mean, Winter Soldier fucking rocks. And yeah, it is a combination of, it's a perfect synthesis of a filmmaker team and studios, and Kevin Feige knew what was up. Then he had to hire people based on, call it, other criteria. He couldn't just be like, okay, these storytellers, James Gunn he's only worked at the $3 million level as a director, but all we have to do is have him do his thing and give him, we already have the team that's going to make
Right.
this stuff. Let him do his. I mean, it's. I think to me, Guardians of the Galaxy 1 is the greatest lesson in terms of other. But the problem is nobody. The people at the studios don't know anything. They just don't. They don't know how to. There's nobody at the studios that can make that decision because they're all corporately owned. So it's all done on spreadsheets and all this. Kevin Feige had complete control, so he could say, "Oh, I can do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this." There's nobody else out there who can do that except maybe Jason Blum, but he's working at a very different level. I mean, you hire Lee Winnell to do Invisible Man, and you for $8 million, you make $100 million. I mean, that's pretty incredible.
Right, but I think even he's like too spread thin now, where he can't like sit there and sort of shepherd and quality control. He has to. He's doing so much now. The same thing with Kevin Feige, and the difference between, I think, Kevin Feige is an example of someone who's been leading the charge, who actually loves movies. It's why back in the 80s and the things that, you know, when I first moved into town and you're starting out and stuff, you look for people and you look for your Charlie Bands or your Roger Cormans in this low budget world and everything. Compared to other low budget people, you could tell they loved movies.
And we both got to work at those places.
They were businessmen, but they loved movies. And
well, yeah, I mean, nowadays
to more interesting things, as opposed to not to put people down, but then you had your, you know, Cinetels, and you had your other companies that were just making product.
Yeah.
And they didn't
but even Cinetel didn't Cinetel make like
love movies.
But didn't they make Warlock? Wasn't Warlock?
No, that was New World. New World.
Okay, so that's
Bob
Corman.
That was Bob Raimi at that time.
New World was Corman.
Not when they made Warlock. They had sold it off.
Oh, all right.
Point. He had sold it off at that point.
But you know, you had David Twohy writing it. You know, who loved genre cinema. I mean,
sure. No, I mean, but that was the then. And then you get someone like I think it was. You know, then there was Bob Raimi went to Universal, and then there was another guy there, and then that's when you got, you know, you got the picture deals with, you know, Wes Craven and Sam Raimi. They got their multi-picture deals back in the 80s.
Deadly Friend and People Under the Stairs.
No, it was Shocker and People Under the Stairs.
Okay.
And then you got They Live and Prince of Darkness. Over
that was
there.
a live films. That was a live
right,
films.
That was
it was
Chef
Prince
Gordon.
of Darkness. Yeah, that's right.
Gordon.
And also Andre Blais.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the father, my hero, the father of home video.
Right. So I think maybe the thing is with the I mean, look, I you know, again, it's probably grumpy old man who's just sort of frustrated. Like, you know, we all know nowadays it's like, you know, we could write a great script, but it's like, if it's not based on something, good luck getting someone to read the fucking thing.
Oh, even more so if it doesn't have an attachment.
Right.
Yeah.
You basically have to do all their work before you bring it to them now.
Yes, because every person working on the other side of the table is working in complete fear of being fired if they say yes to anything. The second they say yes, their job is on the line. And so understanding that is part of understanding how this whole system works. So they say no all day because no's are safe. The second you greenlight something, well, better fucking make its money. And then that's when the overthinking starts. And that's where the overnoting starts. And that's where like the truth of Hollywood comes out, is that nobody knows anything. If anybody knew what a hit was, every film would be a hit. But we don't know this. And so all you can do is like well, what did they do before? And the worst kind of producer does that to you all the time. And the best kind of producer says, let's try something. But trying something is fucking risky. And so this is what's done in indie cinema. It's not done in studios very often. But what you were saying earlier about people directing their own sequels. What's his name? I've got his name right here. Michael Sarnowski, who wrote and directed Pig, did Quiet Place Day One. So it still happens here and there. And that's the thing that people should be doing more of, is yes, taking the person who made the small film and saying, all right, let's give you a shot at a studio sequel. If you're directing your own sequel, I mean, that feels like the worst kind of jerking off.
Unless you do
Sam
Joker
Raimi
2,
doing
which is
evil-
a diametrically opposed thing from Joker 1. I
Or
mean,
if you're Sam Raimi and you're doing Evil Dead 2 and you're doing it like this is how I wanted to do the first one.
yeah.
In a
Yeah.
way. But the funny
Still,
thing
that's-
is like I'm still an
that's-
Evil Dead 1 guy.
Yeah, and honestly, that like let me do it again. How different is that from Lucas going back and fucking with his effects? Not much different. From the attitude point of view of like, well, I need to do this again because I didn't like the first one.
I can do it better. I can
do it better.
No,
and
no,
I don't care whether you loved the first. And so it's the same kind of thing. It's to a different degree, yes, but it's the same creative motivation. And so I think that's all self-indulgent. I think it's all yes, the Evil Dead 2 is a great movie. I like Evil Dead better. I'd rather.
Me too, man.
And
Just like I like Terminator better than Terminator 2.
Yeah, same. But
yeah.
I also, because I'd heard, here's a hilarious thing is when I was younger and I saw Evil Dead and was horrified because it's a fucking horrifying film. And I heard Evil Dead 2 was sort of like a remake of, but funnier. And I was like, well, I don't want to watch that.
Yeah.
And so I didn't for years. And then Army of Darkness came out and I went to see it. And I was like, what the fuck is this?
By the way, I worked on it. I have a screen credit. In the credits, I have a credit in Army of Darkness.
I've seen.
Rob, do this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'm proud of my screen credits.
You should.
I mean, everyone. I am. You know what? I don't have a screen credit on that I fucking deserve one on was Mick Garris's Sleepwalkers. I deserved a screen credit on that movie. Trust me, same summer as Army of Darkness. Wow. But hang on a second. Now here's one of the things I think is problematic within the industry now. Like you pointed out, Sean, about how no one can say yes to anything. Everyone's so terrified. Yep, because and they're more terrified than ever because studios are thinking about spending $100 million. Yep. What I don't understand is if you look at the economics of like I'll go back to Star Trek movies. So Star Trek 09 was a $175 million film, and it did not even gross $500 million at the box office. So it needs to, you're talking about tripling or quadrupling your initial budget to break even. And that is because the studios get half of what they make. Yep. So you can make a movie that costs $200 million and your profit might only be $40 or $50 million. You make a movie like Smile for less than $20 million, it grosses $200 million worldwide. That might have the exact same profit for Paramount that a $175 million Star Trek movie has for the studio.
Or a Barbarian.
Or a Barbarian, a $4.5 million movie that grosses 40 plus. And by the way, I got to give a shout out to producer Roy Lee. Like Roy Lee has got his fingers in lots of pies. He produces Barbarian. He produces a Lego movie. His latest trailer came out this week, which by the way, not very much fanfare. Companion. Yeah. If you haven't, I read that script. It's fucking dope. It's a dope script. And Roy, I'll admit, I'm friends with him. He sends me some stuff to read. That guy I don't know where his scripts come from. Whether it's Boy Kills World or whatever, he's making The Long Walk, the Bachman books. Yeah. He's making that with Francis Lawrence directing.
Written by J.T. Molnar, who directed Strange Darling.
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. I will say this: all of Hollywood should just make Roy Lee in charge, and he also was a producer on
Salem's Lot.
Yes, and even he will tell you because he gets the money. He makes his deal. Here, I've made the deal for you, and I love Roy Lee. He's taken me to lunch, and he's a great guy, and I love him to death. But even he's like beholden. He makes the deals and he gets paid regardless. So for him, it's a numbers game. But my God, no one in Hollywood gets better scripts than he does. No
And
one.
I think that's the thing. I mean, I think it's it's difficult because I mean, look at to hit Salem's Lot for a minute here. When I watched it and everything, it was obvious. It was obvious there was an hour more of that movie that was shot.
Oh,
that they just got rid of. Now, again, and that they probably in post and everything changed.
Dude, it took them. I saw a trailer 3 years ago at CinemaCon
and sped things up and amped things up and everything else. But I got to say, what was in that 2 hours wasn't working for me. It felt like a Cliff Notes version of the story, but it was like, here's kind of a greatest hits of the things in Salem's
It was
Lot
fucking terrible. It was terrible. I'll say it. I mean, here's the problem. No one, and Sean, chime in if you want, the people that work at studios have never made movies. They don't know fuck all. They've never been on sets except for half a day, and they're bored and they leave and they have some craft service and they're out. The people that work at the motion picture studios that are greenlighting all of this know less about the process of making movies than ever before. My first job in the industry was I worked for the senior vice president of physical production, Bill Young, at Warner Brothers, maker of Salem's Lot. I mean, I was there when we made Bonfire of the Vanities. I was there the entire time. And I could give you a list, nothing but trouble. Nice. I was there when they made that film. I mean, I could tell you stories, and it was crazy. And those movies cost a fraction of what we have today. No one at the studios who are working at the studios have ever actually made films. My boss was a unit production manager on many different things before he was hired to be the senior vice president of physical production. He'd actually produced projects. He knew what... That is not true at the studios anymore. None of the people working there, the people that actually have worked there, they go off they go off and then figure out how to make movies. You know,
I mean, now they're marketing folk.
The people that work at studios that are greenlighting this stuff, they don't read. They're not fans. They've never made films, and yet they're greenlighting $200 million movies. It is insanity, and people wonder what's wrong with Hollywood. The people running Hollywood know less about making movies than ever before in history, ever.
Yeah, I'll agree with that.
And you know what's interesting? Sorry, when you say that and they don't read and everything, it just got me thinking. It's like, well, I guess that the sort of new frontier, the more experimental frontier now is television. You know, they're doing because some of the stuff, not the Star Wars IPs and stuff, but then but
well, look, Mike Flanagan.
You're getting some more interesting, risky stuff. I mean, even for example, I know it's not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but I watched Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, which is kind of trashy TV until you get to episode 5, which is kind of like this amazing thing to watch because the entire episode is one shot.
Right.
One take, one shot, no cuts.
Yeah, but who did that first?
It's two people talking at a table. And it doesn't matter who did it first. The fact that someone today did it was really impressive to me.
No, I agree with you, but look at Mike Flanagan. I mean, whether you love Mike Flanagan or not, whether he's doing Dr. Sleep for Warner Brothers, whether he's doing Midnight Mass, whether he's doing Fall of the House of Usher, and now he probably has made what's going to win Best Picture at the Academy Awards, which is the adaptation of the Stephen King story from If It Bleeds. Is it If It Bleeds?
Is it Good Luck Chuck?
Good Luck, Chuck.
Yeah. Good Luck, Chuck.
Yeah. Which everyone, I mean, Flanagan, here's a guy, what I love about him is, like, that's the trajectory that we want for filmmakers. And I think Hollywood is curtailing it.
But
He's a
always
guy
been
that,
great storyteller.
yeah, of course.
It's about star fucking, and it always has been. Flanagan's become a star. He gets to make his shit.
But I think though that he's a guy that deserves, like, he put in the time. He put in the time. He did the work.
Every bit of his stardom.
But you know
He's
what? It's
phenomenally talented and has managed to connect.
Though. I heard something interesting yesterday by someone who was like going, yeah, but even Flanagan, he's like, look, I do these things on TV and everything, and yes, this new one is getting some attention, but it's not a big movie. It's like I need a quote unquote hit, which is why he went to do. That's why he signed on to do The Exorcist.
Yeah, because
he gets
Dr.
paid.
Sleep
he wants money.
Should have been a hit. Dr. Sleep should have been a hit.
Should have.
It's one of those things that's a cinematic masterpiece. I was just talking with the Newton brothers today, the composers of the score, and they do all this stuff with Flanagan. I was on a panel at Comic-Con that was for film composers, and I was telling them today, I was like, guys, what you had to do, what everyone had to do on that film was a cinematic miracle of stitching together disparate parts to make a thing that satisfied all the sides. I think that thing is glorious. I think Flanagan did the most heroic work possible trying to marry Stephen King with Kubrick.
My God, unbelievable.
Amazing. And the longer version is so much better.
The extended is a great piece of cinema.
Yep.
Should have been a hit. But
oh, man.
It's a big, long thing, and it wasn't called The Shining 2. So in the marketing, what's Dr. Sleep mean? Like, I can see why it didn't hit. There's certain stupid things about marketing that you have to satisfy.
You've got people going to the theater who are too young and they've never seen The Shining, so they didn't even appreciate that. It was really for the people who had either read the book or had seen The Shining.
How about this week we got Apartment 7A? Yeah, a Rosemary's Baby. Who the fuck greenlit that shit? Like, look, Rosemary's Baby is one of my top 5 horror films of all time.
Yep.
Like, somebody at Paramount was just digging through something and they decided one of my favorite things in any movie ever is a typewritten line. I can no longer associate myself. Yeah. And they based the whole movie on that, and it's like Diane Weiss playing Ruth Gordon. Fuck yeah, I'm all in. Who is the audience? Who decided that is IP? Well, we got Rosemary's Baby. Do you know it was made in 1968? Do you know that?
Yeah.
No one. They didn't.
Yeah. It's a William Castle production.
I mean, it's unbelievable that we got that this week. No one
from a canceled director. Yeah.
My God.
Not one because they wanted to be, I don't know, but not one connection to Rosemary's Baby in the marketing of it. So anyone who didn't know wouldn't know anyway.
Would know. Yeah.
Speaking of, sorry, Rob, because
I'm just like I have nothing to say. I'm like, what the fuck?
Speaking of another IP, a big movie, a big expensive movie that came out that I caught late, and again I caught it on the extended cut. Then I'm like, this should have been a hit. Was The Fall Guy?
Oh yeah,
it was so fun,
but it's so inside baseball. It's such a Hollywood film that I can see it not landing with the people outside.
But you know what?
For us filmmakers, it's great.
It was
one of my favorite films of the year.
The two characters is charming, so it's like great. It doesn't even matter that it's about making movies and everything. It's like they work together so well.
Okay, here's the thing.
And then the more inside baseball thing is the Metal Storm thing. I know, Rob.
No. That movie should never. It should never have been called The Fall Guy.
Yes.
If they had called that movie anything else, and it's Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, it's the Frisian, the will they, won't they, whatever. That movie, no one today knows what a fall guy is. Even it's a double entendre, and no one's that term is completely out of the vernacular of today. And again. This is why studios and the people that are working there are fucking dumb. Because they had a beautifully made film, so much fun, so exciting. It's exactly what they wanted. No one knows what the Fall Guy meant. They didn't get it. You need, and all that based on the TV series The Fall Guy. You don't even tell anybody. Colt Seavers, a 40 fucking year old show. Nobody knows what it is. But somebody in Hollywood goes, no, it's based on this old TV show, and we call it this. No.
It had been in development for like 20 years, though.
Right,
so
but
multiple generations at the studio knew what it was, and I think that's one of the reasons it existed like that. But when I saw it in the theater, I saw 3 other couples in the theater, which is sad. That was it. And each one sat down and went, "Did you know this was based on a TV show?" What?
Yeah. It's a romantic comedy. It's a meet cute, action-packed. I mean, that film, look, here's my problem. Even the people at the studios, even if it's been developed for 20 years, they should know we're not going to call it this. Let's come up with a better name. And the fact that they don't know that, we know that. I mean, shit, man, you know what? I wandered around the highest echelons of the studio at Warner Brothers. This was 35 years ago. But even then, the people that they hired were Ivy League educated business people. And there were a lot of very smart people there. But and who doesn't want to work in Hollywood? But they didn't know story. No, they didn't know what happened, and it was very frustrating. I would hear this. Look, I was just a lowly management trainee, but I got to go into every single door at the studio. I could go into the highest levels of what was going on, more so than I care to admit publicly. I'll tell you about it later. But the people that worked there, they didn't love film. That's why they were terrified of their jobs, because they didn't know what was good or bad. They didn't love it. And the thing is, Hollywood is the one industry where you really need to love it. Because if you don't know what's good. You don't know, if you don't know your history and you don't know your films. I'm talking about from B movies all the way up to Lawrence of fucking Arabia. If you don't know what's great, you can't do your job. And Hollywood now is filled with people that know less about movies and the history of Hollywood than ever before in its history. And they're wondering why the industry is in free fall. They don't know how to make low-budget movies, mid-budget movies, or large-budget films. They don't know. They don't know.
Let's dial it back a bit. It's not in free fall. The box office is huge right now. It's just for specific films. Now, it is not as good as it's been.
Well,
but it's better than everyone projected. Everyone talked about the death of the goddamn cinema and the theaters, and that's simply not the case. So let's dial that back just a tick.
Well, hang on a second. Stock prices of AMC.
Yeah, stock prices. Yeah. Trusting Hollywood to deliver you art is like trusting a politician to tell the truth. Indie cinema is wherever all the good stuff always lies, and every so often something leaks through, and that's how it's always been. There's nothing new about it. Hollywood doesn't make great movies.
Hang on a second.
Hollywood makes big movies.
I disagree with that, though.
Until someone has clout to shove it down someone's throat, and that's it.
But if you go back to the 80s, for instance,
Hollywood,
all the studios, look, Hunt for Red October cost $30 million.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Paramount could make Footloose. They could make Fatal Attraction. They could make Hunt for Red October. These movies were manageable. The prices were not much, and they would make a lot of money. And these studios used to make a very diverse slate of genre cinema, a rom-com, a drama, a historical epic, whatever. And they were doing a lot of things, but they didn't cost very much comparatively to now. And so studios were delivering all different kinds of entertainment to the audience. And the difference was we were not making movies for the global marketplace. We were making them for the domestic marketplace because you couldn't get films into different now it's a global marketplace. So Hollywood is trying to shoot for the world as opposed to domestic success, and then anything we had outside of that was a bonus. So the business has actually changed drastically.
Oh, of course.
But
as it does every 20 years.
But the problem is movies are way more expensive than they should be.
Yeah.
And that's my problem with
studio pictures are way more expensive than they should be.
Yes, yeah,
Again,
yes.
You're not, if you're talking about indie cinema,
that's what I was talking about. It was just studio
nothing
pictures.
has changed. And
No,
studio
you're right.
pictures are always gonna be the things that have to make money, that the pressure is on. So the odds of them hitting and being truly enjoyable are low, and really only happen when there is a director and or producer behind it with the clout to shove decisions down people's throat. Do you think the studios wanted to make Raiders of the Lost Ark? They did not want to make a fucking 30s serial, but it was the clout of Spielberg and Lucas shoving it down their throat. And because they shoved it down their throat, we get a great piece of art that was a studio picture. These are the things that happen when you have clout and when you have that star quality that allows people to do the star fuckery around you. But then you can get things made. Otherwise.
But to be fair, even George Lucas, Spielberg was coming off of 1941, and George Lucas said, "Look, dude, you can't go over." Yeah. Spielberg changed. Lucas said, "You have to make this movie fast, on time, on budget," and Spielberg stepped up to the challenge Lucas gave him, and they made that movie for. He didn't go over budget. You know, he needed that movie to succeed because of his reputation, which by the way, kudos to him. But I would say what you were saying, like,
but it wasn't a genre that Hollywood was looking for. It was like trying to find the next person to do, until they made it. And as soon as they made it, 1,000 people, then the studio's like, well, give me the next fucking,
Yeah, then we got Romancing the Stone, High Road to China, we got all these.
King Solomon's Mines.
Treasure of the Four Crowns. Come on.
But the thing is, what I don't understand is Blumhouse. They're look, The Exorcist notwithstanding, the idea that their model was, let's make $5 million movies, and if they're great, we can release them through Universal theatrically. Lee Wanell makes Invisible Man for $8 million. It's great. It makes $100 million plus theatrically. Why don't all the studios? I mean, when Dave and I went,
Blumhouse doesn't do that anymore. No. They don't make those movies anymore. They since Halloween made $300 million.
Of course,
they don't make anything for under 30 now.
But they've got Lee Wanell's Wolfman's coming out.
That's like $35 million.
Their
like
lowest budget is what, around 17? I've heard.
Yeah.
Okay, but they don't
do low budget anymore.
But they've earned it. I mean,
but again, it's what we're talking about. It's not learning from the success. It's constantly trying to level up with this greed model.
Well, that is true. That is true.
And instead of going, what works? That's why Roger Corman says he never lost any money except on the William Shatner fucking race. Yeah.
But Roy Lee making Barbarian for $4.5 million. Now he's got Companion coming out, which is the same. Around that same budget level.
Yeah.
I mean,
keep it under 10.
You can do that. Anything. You can do that. And I think I mean, there's no reason why you can't. I understand the greed, but this is the problem with the entire world. Is everybody wants to get, and eventually there's only so much money to go around, and everyone wants to get what they can, when they can, how they can. But I would say that what we want is a sustainable model. Like if someone said to me, Rob, if we gave you $5 million every year for the rest of your life, would you be satisfied with whatever you make? You can make whatever you want for $5 million and you can share in the profits. I'd be like, fuck yes.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Give me my yearly $5 million. You know who I'd hire? Well, the two of you. You'd write, Dave would direct, and we'd go make movies. And it would be, and we would win. We would win.
That's the difference between being process-oriented and goal-oriented. When you're a process-oriented artist, you have fun making. The making is the thing that satisfies you and fills your heart.
But we'd be goal-oriented too, because we want our big audience.
Yeah, but if you want your big audience, well, you better spend more money. You better make it bigger. Like that's the insidious disease that gets in you. Is got to make it bigger, got to make it better. Which is ambition. That's where we're made of ambition.
But I think
everyone in this has that in them. And
Strange Darling proves. I mean, they didn't have studio money behind it, but Strange Darling proves that you can make if that film was the exact same movie was released with a studio marketing budget, that film, people would have been like, that was the best movie I saw all year.
Yeah.
But no one knew it
now,
came out. No one knew anything about it.
But will that director ever work for that budget again?
Probably not.
No.
See, like no matter what, everyone wants to scale up. Always.
Sure, of course,
so
of course.
That's the disease that we all suffer from. And
But
it's
even if you paid him double, I guarantee you, if you paid everybody double, you'd be going from not very much to not that much compared to any studio movie. Go from 5 million to 10 million. That's pretty good. I mean, Zach Krieger doing Barbarian. He did Weapon now. The Pulp Fiction of horror. Wait, can I say that? I'm not supposed to know. Okay, I'll just call it that. If
that's what people were calling LA Gothic when I was making that with John Carpenter.
Yeah, I'm not under an LA. I'm not under an NDA. I would say that Zach Krieger earned the right to make. He got what, an $8 million deal, write and direct, $12 million deal, write and direct, or whatever. I mean, Barbarian, $4.5 million. You know, he deserves it. And boy, do I hope he makes a movie he wrote called Second Coming. Please make that movie. Please, 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 somebody.
You know, but it's funny because then there's other really good directors too. Maybe you guys know, I forget their names, but they did Small Town Crime, and then they did The Fat Man with Mel Gibson. Those guys, and it's like those guys should they make really interesting movies that should be growing. You know, it's like you would hope that that you make something that gets a little attention stuff, and then it's almost the Carpenterism of like, okay, you make Halloween and for 300,000, and then you get $1 million, and then you get 2 million, and then you get 4 million, and you grow and grow and grow. Because I think a lot of the times, like you make something for $4 million or something, if someone throws $20-30 million at you after that, it's like, well, the pressure, the pressure coming down on you, at that, even just at that level,
deliver,
is like, because you have so many more people like standing behind you now.
By the way, we have people who've sent in super chats to the channels where they paid money to ask us questions.
Do they wear glasses by day and take them off and turn into super chats?
That they could. I don't know. Thomas Logan says, Rob, show Dave the Spotnitz scream with context. I could. That was. I was possessed at the time. I don't know what that looks like again. I'd have to go back and watch the show, Thomas. I'm sorry. I did a show about the X-Files. I was pretending I was a fan, and I can't do it. I don't know. MTH says, Rob, in my opinion, I love these people that watch the show. Rob, in my opinion, this is for both of you guys. In my opinion, Law and Order is the greatest series ever made. Jack McCoy's closing arguments are just as awesome and as epic as any Picard speech. The revival was a huge disappointment. Thoughts? You guys Law and Order fans?
I've never watched it.
I have, and I would say, yeah, they're great. But the problem with procedurals is they have to end a certain way.
Yeah,
I've watched my fair of like CSI. I've had to watch a season because I was working on some documentary stuff for it and things. It's like I see the place for those. It's like I get it. I just don't watch them.
Yeah, they're the constraints that they work with are so rigid that the fact that anything enjoyable comes out of them is kind of miraculous. And yet, week after week, they have pretty solid writing. I've watched several of them. My wife still watches SVU religiously. Because, Mariska, love her.
Me too. But by the way, that's a brutal fucking show, too.
It's a brutal show. It's Rape of the Week, and it's one of those shows. SVU is falls squarely in the line with a lot of other true crime things that are there to basically validate women's fears about how awful men are. Because we're awful, and that's the thing. It says, hey, look at how fucking bad men are, and that's why women love it. It's one of those things that really resonates with women because it's like, I've been telling you this is the way totally. Every woman I know who loves it feels, and they're like, see, and so because of that, it satisfies this recurrent need. But you look at them and they are timed out to the minute, to the commercial break of exactly.
Oh, it's when
the crime is revealed, when the first suspect comes in and then it's dismissed and it's not that person, when the like it's so rigid that it is kind of phenomenal that any one of them is enjoyable after watching one, and they kind of are. So kudos to the writing teams on those. The formulaic nature of them is annoying to me, but how many years?
It was 24.
They're on season 24 of SVU. That means the original Law and Order is older than that. I mean, I know when it started, Jesse Martin, he had just come off doing Rent, because I had just come off doing Rent. That was 1997. That shit has been going on for
100,000. I don't know what the song is.
525.
There you go.
600. There you go.
My God.
Pay royalties now.
Steve Catania says, Rob, have you seen Moon Age Daydream? I think that's what it's called. The David Bowie doc. Do you recommend it?
Amazing.
Yes. It's amazing. And by the way, I think it's in 4K from Criterion.
Yeah, it is now.
It's unbelievable. I first saw it at, it's funny. I went and saw the presentation. I don't know if it was Neon who released it. It was Crimes of the Future and Moon Age Daydream at CinemaCon, and I got up. No one wanted to go with me. But they showed a clip, and then I saw the film in IMAX. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's see. Care About You says the Joker needs more metal. Any song suggestions?
Yeah, they should have used AC/DC's Big Balls in that movie.
Or you got another thing coming?
If you want blood. Yeah, yeah. Turbo Lover.
Fuck yeah.
Those are good. Thomas Logan says Phillips, Phoenix, and Gaga's salaries are $50 million alone. Yeah, it's 25% of the budget. Yeah, that I mean, look, God bless them, but
God, you never have to work again.
But that exceeds the budget of the entire budget of the first film.
And I'd be like, bye, I'm gone. I got $50 million. I've got $50 million. I'm gonna go do anything I want to do.
Thomas Logan says Gunn stole Perlman's Guardians of the Galaxy script. The WJ stopped him. Well, okay, yeah, but remember he was hired onto a project that was already in development. So, just saying, I don't think he stole the script. What he did was he was brought on to further develop a script that was already being developed by Marvel. It's not like he read someone's script and stole it. He came on board a project that was already being developed, so it's a different thing. And that's just me. The Phantasmagorium says, so there's new stuff that's come out that says over $350 million for the Marvels. Really? Well, I mean, again, the Captain Marvel did make over $1 billion. It was a girl boss film. And I understand why they went the way they went, but that movie was a hot mess. I mean, it was. So from the studio perspective, they're like, yeah, why not? Major Chai Chai says, do you think it's more that the suits not knowing movies or they just not know how great storytelling in general? By the way, great discussion tonight, fellows. Fire.
Thanks, Major.
Well, that's great. And by the way, Sean, thank you for being here. Again, I think your input has been invaluable tonight and has made this quite a great show.
Yeah, you should teach a class.
Yeah, man.
Hey, I'm going to teach a class next week. Just saying.
Run forever. You'll never get out. Students, you'll never get out.
That's not true. This is not the first college course I've taught. Come on now.
What are you teaching, Robert?
Cinema.
Yeah.
It's a survey course.
Okay.
So it's a basic introduction to cinema class. But I have to say, they're teaching off a book, and I don't even know what the book is. I was just sent the 10th chapter of the book, and it's actually pretty good. I was like, this chapter is really, really good. And what the chapter leaned into, because it was more of an art text, was how cinema can... It's very funny because it goes back to Tarkovsky's Sculpting in Time. And it talks about how cinema can change our perception of how time works. And that's what Alfred Hitchcock said. Life Cinema is life with all the dull bits cut out.
Yep.
That's right.
And so
You can extend something forever, and you can compress things together. Yeah, it's a medium that does squish time in a wonderful way that no other medium can.
yeah. The Dead Man says, I love this stream, Chief Running Mouth. That's a reference to... So when I was doing Indian guides when I was a wee lad, I couldn't stop talking about... So Sean, when I was in school in first and second grade, I would come home, and everything I learned that day, I would have to reiterate to at the dinner table, and my mom finally said, "Shut the fuck up. Just don't tell me anything." And my father, when we did Indian guides, which is now probably canceled, you had to pick an Indian name, and my father called me Chief Running Mouth because I would not stop talking. So the Phantasmagorium says, "Hey."
I find that hard to believe, Robert.
I know, terrible, right? It's terrible. The Phantasmagorium says, "Hey, panel. I asked Rob years ago if he'd watched A Clown in Babylon. Have you seen it? Check it out. I have still not."
What is the...
A Clown in Babylon. I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Do you guys know?
Context.
Dave, are you Googling it? Can you tell us?
No, I'm talking to some asshat in your chat who calls me quite annoying.
But I love you, Dave. You're not annoying.
Well,
love you too,
he
Dave.
says I'm quite annoying, so I'm asking him to illuminate so we can let everyone know, because this is what he wants. He wants the attention, so I'm going to give it to him.
Okay.
Yeah, but you know the difference between you and him? You know the difference between you and him is?
I'm on.
You're on this show.
Yeah. Hilarious.
And Thomas Logan goes on to say, "Rob, 30-minute mark of Kolchak episode, show the guys." I don't know what that means, Thomas Logan. Which episode of Kolchak are you on? By the way, isn't it sad that we only got like half a season of Kolchak the Night Stalker?
But isn't it great that it's on Roku? That you can just like dial it right up?
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah, it was sad. That was again, it was too good, too cool. TV, especially in the 70s. Are you kidding me?
Dude, you know what?
A wasteland.
Who's the chick? Who's the chick that wrote the book that I have on 70s? Dave, you know this. The book that I shouldn't say the chick.
Is it Elise Wax?
The scholarly who wrote the book on
Men, Women, and Chainsaws.
No. Who wrote the book about TV movies of the 70s?
Oh,
Is that Elise?
No, it's not Elise. It's
that book is
Amanda Reyes.
Yes. That book is fucking awesome. I mean, everything from Killdozer, Satan's School for Girls, The Enemy, or the Stranger Within with Barbara Eden, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark with Kim Darby.
Yeah,
that book is dope, and because it makes you want to like go buy all those movies. And thank God for Warner Premiere putting out things like Bad Ronald and Don't Be Afraid of the Dark.
Yeah. I love those.
Oh my God, they're so good. Talk about Halloween. I mean, Don't Be Afraid. Movie's not great. The Guillermo del Toro version of Don't Be Afraid of the Dark that he produced is just not great. I wish it was great.
Yeah,
but gents,
pretty looking.
It is. We've been on for 3 hours. Where you guys at?
No, we've been on for 2 hours.
Oh, right. Because it's not.
We started at 10.
You're right. I'm sorry.
But we should wrap it up because
because it's midnight metal.
Yeah,
right.
It's true. Sean's got kids, man. Come on.
They're all grown.
Oh, there you
kids
go.
Who can take care of my shit for me.
So, by the way, everybody, if you go to SoundCloud,
if you go to Bandcamp,
that's what I said. If you go to Bandcamp and you look under Sean Keller 2, these are the albums you want to buy. There's actually 4. I only have 3 of them. But these are the greatest Halloween extravaganza albums you've ever experienced in your life. Go to Bandcamp right now, and there's a 4th one But
The fourth one
please,
has Shannon Purser from Stranger Things and Riverdale singing a song. It has Aurora Perrineau from my first movie, All That We Destroy, and from Chaos on Netflix. She sings a song. I've got Gigi Salguero on it. I've got my wife, Chelsea Stardust, on there. Clark Wolf, indie horror actress, darling Fina Sanchez. There's a bunch of just cool horror folk all over the latest album. Pick it up, man. It's a good time.
and by the way, you can find those on Bandcamp,
There you go.
and they're all right here. And Sean Keller. No, you don't have to leave yet. We don't have to stop. We can keep going. I just thought I thought it was time to give Sean some. We've been talking mad shit. Give him some time to promote his stuff that's on Bandcamp.
Why are you painting me like the bad guy, motherfucker?
I like the relentless shilling. I'm a fan of.
Yeah. No, but
We're here to shill for Sean. By the way, have you heard about Sean Keller's new Halloween albums? Oh wait, they're not new, but you can get them on Bandcamp. Hang on. Yes. So Dave, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you. I'm just saying Sean Keller has created 4 Halloween albums that you should go get on Bandcamp. They're only $6.66. Go there right now.
Sean Keller 2.
Sean Keller 2.
Love it.
Why aren't you there right now? Go there right now. Sean Keller 2. $6.66. Celebrate Halloween the way it was meant to be done. I'll shill for you. And by the way, he's not paying me to do this. I'm privileged to have him on our channel.
Aw, so sweet.
There you go. By the way, Sean Keller 2 on Bandcamp.
All right. Yes, and you were saying, Dave?
Dave, what was up?
Is there ever a possibility for a live Halloween show?
Oh.
My wife's bugging me to do one. She wants to produce it. So because of that, it'll probably happen. If it was up to me to produce, it wouldn't. Just because it's one of the things is I'm the musician. I play all the instruments. So it would have to be, live singing to pre-recorded tracks or something like that. It wouldn't have that like live band vibe because
Prince
couldn't assemble a band that could play all the different instruments needed.
Yes, you could. Come on, you could totally get a whole band.
It would be more work than I want to do.
Maybe it could be the first midnight metal concert, and Dave Parker and I could find your musicians for you. Come on, that would be. I would love. I have to branch out. We got to do more than be on YouTube.
Yeah,
that would be pretty dope.
If there's some bucks behind it, sure, I'm down.
We have to. Well, that's the whole point. No Bucks, no Buck Rogers. God damn it.
That's exactly. It is. It's one of those things where it would be fun. I'm a live theater guy and I'm a live performance guy. I was a musician for the longest time. I got my career started because I was playing on a street corner in Old Town Alexandria. Some guy walked by and was like, "Did you write that song?" And so I've been lucky to be a live performer most of my life, and I kind of miss it. So yeah, at some point probably there will be a Halloween show of some kind. It might be overtly theatrical and put on almost like a musical, because I did write and produce one musical already and I'm working on another one, and so it might be in that vein. I'm also trying to make a feature film about Killer Sounds of Halloween, and I'm maybe even thinking about going animated.
By the way, how great is that title?
Killer Sounds of Halloween. Come on,
dude.
Yeah,
I'd see that shit. I don't even know what it's about. I'd watch it.
We've got a great pitch for a feature. Trying to find a home that gets the concept is tricky because it is. I mean, this is niche shit I'm making. I'm not expecting it to set the world on fire in any way because it's so specific that it kind of excludes being massively popular.
Okay,
and so investment in a film on it is tricky.
How much money? How much money? Do you think that let's go with Lee Winnell's $8 million budget for Invisible Man? Do you think the Killer Sounds of Halloween, if someone gave you $8 million, would not return its investment?
Oh, it would probably lose money on that.
Why are you saying that?
because it's so niche. If I made it for $500,000, it would do great.
Okay, you're not supposed to say that.
I know,
I'm on your
but
side.
I'm telling you the truth.
Sean, $8 million
No
bucks.
exec is listening, waiting to back up the truck. Don't worry.
Killer Sounds of Halloween for $8 million. First of all, it's a perennial. It's a
Yes.
movie that is going to play forever.
Forever.
Like It's a Wonderful Life. If it's great, I would say that's not a lot of money. And Killer Sounds of Halloween, you release it in October? Really? If the trailer's great and you do your job, you're a great writer, great musician, you have great
Built-in
songs.
soundtrack album release.
I mean, my God, Killer Sounds of Halloween there'll be a Hollywood Bowl show every year. Sing along. Come on, man.
From your lips to God's ear.
So you
Satan's
don't
ear.
say live on a show. No, I don't want $8 million. Give me $500,000. No, I think you should get $8 million. Sean Keller needs $8 million to make Killer Sounds of Halloween. And by the way, it's got to be better. Warner Brothers, if they gave you $8 million, they'd make more money on your movie than they made on Joker 2 this weekend.
Most likely.
So why not?
Well, percentage-wise, yes.
Why can't Sean Keller make Killer Sounds? You've already got the proof of concept with these albums.
It's the one IP that Hollywood doesn't get. Music.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. All I know is that this week, Sony bought Pink Floyd's catalog. And if that means I can get a 4K version of Pink Floyd's The Wall in Dolby Atmos, I'll be a happy camper. And I can get rid of my 2 bootlegs because, God damn it, they just don't cut the mustard.
No, they don't. My shitty bootleg DVD of The Wall is not cutting it. I'm with you.
Look, I say to my mom, I'm like, Mother, do you think they'll drop the bomb? She's like, yes, they're going to drop the bomb. We're all going to die. My mom's suffering from dementia. What can I say?
What's the most terrifying album, would you think? Would you say? Like, just whether it's conceptual or something like that, just Rob saying that made me
I'll
think
put you on the spot.
Damn. There's Johnny Suicide was a song that's fucked up. Who did that song? Fuck. That was really upset. You know, like when I was a kid, a couple of songs really scared me. That doesn't mean that they were scary. But Edgar Winter's Frankenstein,
Right.
when it got into the weird synthy part, for some reason, because it was called Frankenstein, when it started getting all loopy synthy, I would get scared every time when that song came out. And so that was one of those things when it would play on the radio, I'd be like, I love this. And I'd be like, no, I'm scared. But there's elements of dread in a lot of Pink Floyd things. There's a lot of screamy, yelly shit in some hardcore thrash, but it's not scary. It's so heavy that it isn't scary, you know? I don't know what the scariest record would be. I mean, probably some like gothic country shit.
Wow. Dave, do you have an answer to that? Do you have a scary album?
I mean, for me, it would definitely be a Diamante Gallus album. One of them.
Yeah.
The newest one, Gargoyles, is pretty fucking disturbing.
Yeah, I can buy that. She's got a horrifying voice. I mean,
Yeah.
beautiful.
It's
Haunting.
amazing, but yeah, that one or the Satanic Litanies that she does, that's pretty disturbing.
Wow.
Naked City was a thrash jazz freakout band that is stuff that's so jarring that it's kind of upsetting and scary. With Yatsumaki Ai, a Japanese lead singer, and John Zorn, classical saxophone player. The guy
Yeah,
did like
of
sort of
course.
the sax freakout from Lost Highway, that kind of thing. So they did this thrash jazz, and it's distressing on a certain level.
I mean, Black Sabbath's first album, when I first heard it, was very disturbing.
Yeah.
Gosh, you guys, you know what the scariest album I ever heard, the scariest song when I was a kid? Was the Moody Blues Nights in White Satin.
Really?
It's a
Yeah,
haunting song.
because at the end it was like, breathe deep, the gathering gloom, watch lights fade from every room. I didn't even know what that shit meant.
Yeah.
I would hear that because I love the song, you know, Nights in White Satin, and I'm like, it felt like a horror movie. And I was a kid, but when they got to that part, the musical bridge that got into it, I pulled the covers over my head in bed. I'm like, breathe deep. I was like, no, I don't want to breathe deep. I don't. It scared the shit out of me.
Well, I remember putting on running from home from the record store with Number of the Beast and putting it on and laying the needle on it and listening to that intro and getting so amped up for like a good scary thing. And then it just sort of rocks out and you're like, oh, this is the thing. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's not really, I was so ready for it to like really get me. And I was like, no, this song just, it rules, but didn't, I didn't get my devil love out of it the way I wanted.
Well, it's true.
All right. Do we have any more super chats?
Yes, we do. Norwegian Kryptonian. This is amazing. A member of the channel for 41 months says, I just got back from Rome, Italy. 3 concerts with David Gilmour at the Circus Maximus. Come on.
Wow.
How awesome is that?
Bragger.
He's playing the Hollywood Bowl.
He says
over Halloween.
That was metal. Yes, Norwegian Kryptonian. And if I remember, he's seen hundreds of Pink Floyd shows. Like from the last 50 years, he's seen most of the shows.
Wow.
So what's your best concert brag then? That's a good concert brag. What's your concert brag? Who have you seen that's like the coolest fucking thing that you can brag about?
Kiss Dynasty.
Kiss Dynasty.
That was my first rock concert ever at the Seattle Center Arena. Still full makeup. My dad insured that concert. I took my friend Jeff Swafford and a girl named Pam Comstock, who was the coolest girl in the 7th grade, who subsequently she's passed away. Rest in peace. That was my first rock concert of all time. And it was fucking dope as fuck.
Mine didn't get recorded quite so dramatically, but my first concert, I saw Judas Priest. I'm from the DC area at the Capitol Center in May of &86. It got turned into a movie called Heavy Metal Parking Lot.
Yeah.
That was my first concert. I was there. Like, those were my people. And so this is one of those things where I didn't even realize that I didn't know that documentary existed until the 90s. And I was like, wait, somebody made a fucking movie about that? That was my first goddamn concert. That one and seeing Ice-T and Body Count.
Well,
I saw them open for LA Guns on a Halloween show.
Hang on a second. I gotta say, I swear to God, this came in before you just said that. Pete Dencat says Body Count has released a loose cover of Comfortably Numb. Oh, wow. I love it. Have you heard it?
Damn, I've not.
I have not.
I can't imagine Body Count doing. I mean, I like the Scissor Sisters version of Comfortably Numb because but Body Count doing Comfortably Numb. By the way, they said that before, Sean. Before you said that,
that's
my God,
brilliant. That's brilliant. I can't wait to listen.
My God,
I'm gonna listen when I get off of this. The mind boggles, and so now I have to listen to it. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go to bed going, wait, what is that? How can that be? I'll like start writing it in my head if I don't listen to it.
The Phantasmagorium Show says a so-called metal in the 80s never scared me, but Simon and Garfunkel did. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Slide whistle.
I know. So
scared you. Come on, man.
Yeah, what can you do?
It's the sound of silence, man.
It's the sound of silence.
By the way, we have a tip from our friend Miss 50 and Still Metal. Says this show always has the best of the best guests. Great topic and great show tonight, guys.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Miss 50, but Still Metal. That's very sweet.
Pretty cool, right?
Very cool. I love that. That's really neat.
That's really nice. She's a big fan, watches this show a lot. Stubble McShave says, do the kids today want remakes or sequels to 40-year-old movies? If they said to me in the 1980s, when I was a preteen, that they were going to make a sequel to Casablanca, I wouldn't be interested. The young crowd wants their own thing, not hand-me-downs.
What about this panel makes you think we know what the kids think?
I would say we do. What they want original visions that are theirs. By the way, when we were kids, it's not like other kids were making what we wanted. No. You know, you had filmmakers like when we got Nightmare on Elm Street in '84, you were a decade away from Last House on the Left, or so I would say that what kids want are unique visions that speak to them. John Hughes was not a kid when he was making 16 Candles or Breakfast Club or Howard Deutsch directing Some Kind of Wonderful that he had written and produced. I mean, I think what people have always wanted are new visions that belong to them, that they have seen for the very first time.
That's why Terrifier's working today for audiences.
Yeah.
That's their boogeyman for today.
100%.
Yeah.
And
so
audiences want to see themselves. Yeah. As they always have.
Oh, Thomas Logan keeps bugging me, Rob. He's like, tell Rob the following 30-minute mark of the Kolchak Robservation stream from 11 days ago. Tell him to play it. Because Thomas Logan, I don't think he's got that just waiting to pop up right now.
I can't do that.
I don't even know what he's talking about.
Okay, I did a whole stream about it. People loved it. But people have to understand, when I do these streams and I'm doing crazy shit, it's not like I planned it. It just happens. You know, if I do some crazy, it's not something I like plan on doing. So a lot of people said, you know,
make that noise again.
Yeah, somebody just captured that and made a meme.
Yeah, there you go. That's a funny thing. I would have thought people like, oh my God. Some people like, why'd you do that? But you blew my ears out. I don't even know what I did. It's a free-form show, my live show. I have articles I read. I know the topics, but I don't know what I'm going to do within those streams. So if I make funny noises or do funny things, I don't know what to tell you.
I've been informed we're very out of touch with millennial, Gen Z, and alpha pop culture. Rob, you are out of touch.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I'm actually
admit it. Yeah.
I'm a student of pop culture. I would say no. I know exactly what's going on with pop culture. I'm very aware of all the stuff that's happening. I just don't agree with it, and I think it sucks. And it's not because I'm some old dude. If you're going to send me the Simpsons shouting at clouds meme, go right ahead. You'd be the 847th person who did it. And by the way, if I am out of touch, which I will freely admit, possibly that could be true, what am I missing?
That's a Daryl Hall and John Oates song, isn't it?
Well, no, that would be Man Eater.
You're out of touch.
It's a Hall and Oates song.
I'm out of my head when you're not around.
Yeah, well,
I paid the royalties on that one now.
And it's fine. If I'm out of touch, tell me why, and point me in the direction to educate myself.
That kind of comment isn't a helpful comment. It's just be specific and please
we've got
educate me.
We've got like this guy trolling us.
Yeah,
in the chat, it's pretty entertaining.
Okay,
well, that's good. I like that.
Specificity helps.
No,
I
like pointing these people out.
By the way, though, I love great trollers as long as
he's not a
smart.
Great troller. He's just trolling.
Well, I mean,
very good. He's not very good at it.
I mean, it's kind of like what in Flash Gordon, what Dale Arden said. Dale Arden, Melanie, who played Dale Arden, when she's fighting with Ornella Moody. Yeah, Melanie Anderson. When she's fighting with Ornella Moody and Moody in Flash Gordon, she's like, "That's what makes us better than you." I love that. And hey, I'm not saying we are, but I'm like,
I think was Melanie Anderson better than?
Okay, first of all,
I don't know.
I would dare say that in my young life, the two, if you're talking 80s, and Flash Gordon's 80, Ornella Muti as Princess Aura in that movie might very well be the hottest woman ever in a sci-fi film, only to be perhaps eclipsed a year before by Caroline Munro in Star Crash. I'm only saying, I mean, you know.
Rob, that's so out of touch.
Right. Yeah.
Who are those people?
Yeah, they don't know. They have no idea. You know, Rob, that's a very misogynistic, cis white male perspective. I don't appreciate what you're saying.
Oh, Rob, the other thing people are saying is they miss you when you're drinking more because it's more entertaining. So, drink up, drinky. No.
But I have been drinking.
Here we are doing a relative.
By the way, can I give Sean
complain when we drink too much?
Can I give Sean props by his light when he was smoking? It reflected off. That was amazing.
You like that?
I mean, that was fantastic.
There's one for the kids that J.J. Abrams.
Well,
there's no escape, Sean. I'm sorry. You can
just
sign
Claudius. By the way, Claudius says this is good. Claudius. By the way, Claudius, who's been a long time, he's been on this channel. Love him to death. Beautiful wife, great son. However, I think he knows more about UAPs than he's letting on. Just saying. Claudius says, scary music. The Shining's main theme, which is a version of Hector Berlioz's Dies Irae from Symphonie Fantastique. Dies Irae. Yeah, that's one of the greatest pieces of music ever, and done by Wendy Carlos is even better. Can I just? I mean, as a Stanley Kubrick fan, can I just shout out, give a shout out to all my trans brothers and sisters? I mean, give me a fucking break. I was talking about trans people since I realized that Walter Carlos transitioned to Wendy Carlos, and I desperately tried to get Wendy Carlos to speak for my Tron documentary in 2002 for that documentary. I don't care. I don't have a problem with trans people. Nobody ever really did until social media made it a problem. Let me tell you, Wendy Carlos is one of my, switched on fucking Bach. Give me a break, people. Give me a break. Do not speak to me. I was way ahead of your curve. Don't tell me about TERFs or trans. I don't give a fuck. If you don't know who Wendy Carlos is, fuck you. I'm just saying. How's that for being drunk? Anyway, so that was a Claudius, great thing. The Phantasmagorium says, the thing is, we just want good stories, well told. Yeah. Old IP or new IP doesn't matter. What matters is telling great stories that use allegory and metaphor, like Star Trek. Right there with you, sir. I am right there with you.
Yeah, I mean, true. That's what we crave. You know, we told stories around the campfire and around for a reason. We respond to archetypal tales and tales of allegory and tales of myth for a reason. You know,
totally agree.
We need it, and you know, Marvel fills a certain level of that need, but we need more than just that type of. And so, yes, of course, we all want that. It's just, you know, we're in a, you know, we're in late phase capitalism where we're in a situation where Hollywood is chasing the biggest buck as opposed to the smartest buck, because one of the biggest problems. My dad's an accountant, and he always asks me, "What's wrong with Hollywood? Why?" You can't treat it like a business. It's a club. It's all business run, but everyone wants to be in the club that made $1 million or $1 billion rather. It's all about hitting certain club levels, and it isn't about, you know, making a great movie that made a good profit isn't as cool to someone as making that one thing that made all the money, you know? And so it's all about being in a club. It has less to do with business, and the decisions aren't made from a business point of view. They're made from a very club point of view. And so that's frustrating, but it's like, I don't want to be shouting at the clouds. I understand the nature of this. And that's why it's frustrating. Yes, but it's not going to make me pull my hair out. I get it. I have empathy for the person on the other side of the table. They want me to come in and give them something that's on brand for them, that fits their models. And if I don't, they don't know what to do with it because, like we've all said, they're not storytellers. They're not filmmakers, so it's just one of those things that's the nature of the beast. It sucks. Yes, we all want great allegorical tales, and sometimes those get woven into the big properties. Yay. Anyone who watched Chaos on Netflix, come on.
Oh,
that was really fun.
It was
really cool,
dude.
And they subverted all the myths. They fucked with all the myths. They turned them all on their ear in a way that was truly enjoyable.
Sean, let me put you on the spot.
Okay.
As a screenwriter, as if somebody came to you and said, Sean Keller, I'm going to give you $25 million.
Okay.
And you can make anything you want to make. What would it be?
I'd make LA Gothic, the thing that I was making with John Carpenter for almost a decade. My writing partner, James Agnew, and I wrote the first thing we ever wrote together in 2004 was a horror pulp fiction. You used that term earlier. We did it in 2004, and it immediately attracted a lot of attention. And one of the people interested was John Carpenter. And when my manager said, "Do you think John Carpenter's worth anything?" I was like, "Why? Are you talking to him?" It's like, and so he goes, "Yeah, he'd like to meet." And so my writing partner and I spent years developing this script with him. Reading it with him, going over it, rewriting it. It was tried to set up as a TV show. He was on it, then he was off it. Then Nicholas Winding Refn was on it for a while. Rob Zombie circled it. Like video director Kevin Kerslake wanted to do it. It was one of those things where it just never got made. And it's one of those things that is a period flick because we wrote it in 2004 and now it really does exist as an early 2000s set horror film anthology, or sort of like snake eating its tail anthology. I would make that. I love it. I've always loved it. It's super fucking fun. It's really high octane. And even if it fails, I would feel good having purged it from my system.
I know what that's like. Okay, gentlemen, I just want to say I'm gonna lay this on you, and it comes from a longtime fan of this channel. I did not prompt him to send this in to us, but Efren Guzman, I've been on his channel. He's a great guy. Says this is Midnight Metal, and we haven't had any risque topics. R&B, Sean, Dave.
Risque.
What's each of your most awkward sexual encounters? And a Halloween question. What would you each do for a Halloween series based on Michael Myers?
Second part.
Oh,
not
come
a
on,
goddamn
dude.
thing.
No, come on, Sean. You got to go all in. Got to go awkward sexual encounter. Come on, dude.
I'll give you an awkward one. I don't owe anyone my most. God, and there's too many to fucking count.
Of course, with all of us.
I once was invited to a threesome that was really just an excuse for these two girls to get it on, and they wanted nothing to do with me. So it was kind of okay, you can go now. So I more like brokered a relationship by the proposition of a threesome, but did never materialize. And so that was weird.
All right. Dave.
Not really humiliating, just strange.
Okay, Dave.
Yes, sir. The question?
Come on, man. Okay, Dave. The question is, because it's Midnight Metal, what's your most awkward sexual encounter?
Eiffel Tower, for sure.
Okay, come on, man. You gotta elaborate, dude.
I don't have to elaborate. They didn't ask for details. They just said most awkward.
No, you got people want to know. They ask.
Oh, hey, you know what? Then they get to pay for it.
Yep. Draw
you
the
guys
picture
are
in your brains, y'all.
Right.
you guys are no fun at all.
Look it up.
I'm happy to answer this question.
Well, yes, because there's so many to choose from.
Which is true. but I have one that's very funny. So in 1987, my grandparents had a house in Palm Springs, and I took my friend Todd Stanley to my roommate, college roommate from the Evergreen State College. We went to Palm Springs, and we were out. We had already an epic night of partying that I couldn't even begin to convince you it was real. But so we're driving home. Now, if you know Palm Springs, we're on the 111 freeway, and my grandparents would put us into the Motel 6 that was close to their place in Rancho Mirage. We are driving home. Now imagine it's about 5:30 in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, the sun is rising, and we're driving along in my Supra, my Toyota Supra, and a red convertible Mercedes-Benz drives up next to us. And we look over, and the entire driver's side section of the car is completely dented in, as if like a giant tree hit it somehow. And there are these girls, smoking hot girls. And they're like, "Where are you guys going?" And like, "We're going back to the Motel 6. And they're like, "We'll follow you." And so they come back with us, and we go into the Motel 6, and there's a swimming pool there. And so one girl goes with Todd, and one girl comes with me up to the second floor of the Motel 6. This is almost 40 years ago. And her name, I kid you not, she tells me her name. By the way, I remember this like it was yesterday. Her name that she tells me was Tessalora Visage. So we go, swear to God. So,
Sean, did I ever tell you that Rob used to write for Penthouse Forum?
Dude, I'm not. I am telling you.
If you end this story with, "I loved it, but I hated
No.
it."
The ending of this story is amazing. The end, trust me, it's amazing. Tessalora Visage. So we go in, and I've been partying all night long, and she starts they drove up next to us, and she starts taking off. I mean, she's unbelievably beautiful, but she's like, I like meaty women, but she's very thin. I'm like, whatever. So she's taking off her clothes, and I'm like, look, I want to smell good. I know I have to take a shower. And she goes, "Why don't we both take a shower?" And so we go into the shower, and we're both sudsing each other up. And let me just say, no stone was left unturned in this moment in the shower. Everything every orifice, it was all good. And at one point, I slipped. Now imagine this. So the shower curtain was pulled behind us. So we're in the shower. I slipped, and I fell backwards. And I fell backwards in the shower curtain, and my head, these cheap motel room doors, my head goes right through the Motel 6 bathroom door. Smashed the fucking door, went right through the door. And with by the way, the shower curtain behind me. And Tessalora Visage is with me. She comes with me, with me in this. And we don't stop what we're doing. But what I don't realize is the curtain is now, the water is shushing down the curtain into the floor of our second floor room. So she and I are continuing doing what we're doing for like a while. The water is streaming out. It starts to sink through, like flood the room below us. And Tessalora Visage and I are still doing what we're doing. No stone left unturned, even though my head hurt like a motherfucker. And it's locked into the two frames of the door. And Tessalora is doing all kinds of things to me. And I'm like, "Come here." And I'm doing things to her. And we're there for like a half an hour. We're not aware of the fact that we are flooding the room below us where people are in. And then suddenly the fucking police come, dude. The police come. And they come in the room and we're like stop.
And
But
so do you.
But she gets up. And my head is still halfway through the door because I'm on the ground and they can see the thing. And the cops were about to arrest us, but they didn't. And that's my most...
Because they were laughing too hard?
They thought it was fucking hilarious. Because I didn't realize that, like, the shower curtain was behind us and my head was through the door. Dude, I was so hammered. I was so hammered and high and all kinds of shit. But that was my, and by the way, if you're out there, Tessa Laura Visage, please corroborate this story. So there you go. Spring break, 1987, Rancho Mirage, California, it's the Motel 6 that's right by Frank Sinatra Drive. Second floor.
Right on.
There you go. Oh, those were the days.
Well, on that note, we should wrap this up. If there is any more super chats.
No, there's probably more super chats. I mean, I'm just trying to, I want to make.
We should wrap this up.
All right. Hang on. Let me just. That was. Yeah, no. Claudius. Hang on. Claudius, who knows more about UAPs. Claudius says, Rob, can we have a knockdown, drag-out debate over Eyes Wide Shut? Misunderstood or misfire, lackluster orgy, or intentionally banal sex club. Thoughts? Okay, I'll throw that at you guys. What do you think?
I think both of those arguments are bad. Intentionally banal sex club, still who cares? It seems like a dirty movie made by a guy who never had sex. And so I think it's the worst by far movie in his filmography. The acting is all screamy and obnoxious. I think as an actor, being histrionic is the easiest way to go. And it neither titillates nor thrills. I find it a miss on all counts. Now, I know many who say the exact opposite. My wife, indeed, enjoys it quite a bit. But yeah, I felt it was like someone who's never had sex trying to make a dirty movie.
Dave?
I think it's overrated. And his body of work. It's a beautiful looking movie, and there's some really interesting stuff in it. But I ultimately, and I haven't seen it in a long time, I remember feeling like, I had to like it because it's Kubrick class movie, as opposed to actually liking it. So yeah, I'm not a huge fan of it. I like his other stuff a lot more.
And I'm a colossal Tom Cruise fan. And a colossal
me too.
Kubrick fan. Like I it's not like I'm slamming him. I think they were directed poorly. I think that his methodology for these two actors in this time was wrong. His methodology is hard to defend anyways. It is borderline abusive in every film. When you make someone do 70 times and don't give them direction in between, that's emotional cruelty. And so we have to recognize Kubrick as a fucking villain on a certain level. He's a genius villain who made genius things, but that film kind of revealed his villainy in a way that it felt like he was exploiting a relationship in distress and not even getting the good stuff out of it.
Enough said. Let's move on to the
I have too much for you. You want to be?
I have so much to say about that, but okay, Dave, I won't.
Don't skip any of the chats. People are complaining.
Why are people complaining? I mean, Mark Spector's Avatar asks.
No, there's one before you missed.
What do you mean? There's one before I missed?
Christopher Carrillo.
Did I? Hang on. Let me just. I'm looking.
He sent one in.
Okay, I'm looking. Claudius. Oh, okay, that was earlier. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Rob, I would love to chat with you about the culture of movies and pop culture. Dave is just annoying. I'm not a troll. Here is your support, Dave. Okay. Christopher, as you know, my own YouTube show, just so everyone knows, I'm 8 shows away from my 1,000th Robservation show. 1,000 shows. And what I'm doing is I was going to try and get lots of celebrity interviews, but I realized no one cares on YouTube. Every celebrity is doing their interview shows. So what I am doing for my 1,000th show, it's all about you. The imagination connoisseurs of this channel. If you want to be on my 1,000th show, there will be 32 people because it will be a 16-plus hour show. It will be a 1,000-minute show.
Wow.
For over 16 hours. And I need 32 people. It's filling up rapidly. If you want to be on the show, send me an email at rmburnett1701@gmail.com. In the subject heading, put Robservations 1000 and tell me what you want to talk to me about, and you get 30 minutes. 32 people for 30 minutes.
At the end of this, I'm going to see you like walking around exhausted like Jerry Lewis at the end of the telethon, just sort of like delirious and
Bro, it's going to be
that chair is what he's going to do.
And by the way, that's only 8 shows away, and I'm finishing editing my audio drama, which is star-studded. And if I have to say it's got everybody from David Strathairn to Katie Sackhoff to Bill Sadler to Louis Lombardi. To of course Michael Rosenbaum, our star. It's a really great piece. I'm so proud of it. It's so good. And if I do say so myself, I know it's only an audio drama, but wait till you hear it. It's going to drop at the end of October.
Cool. Can't wait.
So, you're going to love it. Wow, we keep getting stuff. Wow. Mark Spector's avatar says, Rob, I live in Indio. That's right down the street. I'm imagining everything because I know where all of these places are. Well, Mark Spector's avatar, I can be in Indio in 50 minutes. Maybe, if there's an after hours club, well, let's go hit it. It's great. So we can end this show, Dave and Sean. I have to say, Sean, what a great a pleasure to have you. What a wonderful guest you've been. And if I can just go, let's talk about on Spotify. Oh, wait, no, hang on. Bandcamp. I know, I was making a joke. If you go to Bandcamp and you go to Sean Keller 2, he's got his 4 Halloween albums. I have covers of 3. Here they are. Revenge of the Killer Sounds of Halloween, which is a sequel to The Killer Sounds of Halloween. And of course, we have The Killer Sounds of Halloween. Is this the same? A different?
This is the first one.
The first one.
The previous one was the final chapter. Yes.
The final chapter. Well, Sean, what is the 4th one called? Give us all 4 albums.
They are The Killer Sounds of Halloween, Revenge of the Killer Sounds of Halloween, The Killer Sounds of Halloween 3D, and Killer Sounds of Halloween, the final chapter.
And they are on Bandcamp, and they're $6.66. You should go there and get all 4. All 4, download them. All the work you've done, amazing, fantastic. While we are on the show, I've gone there and bought them. And so I can't wait I wish I had the stuff. I would have played them because it would not have been demonetized. But thank you for coming on the show. You are a fantastic guest. You're welcome back anytime. And by the way, Sean, you might be, I know we've had the lead singer of Chaosium, but I don't think that anything is more fucking metal, man. Fucking metal than Halloween.
Yeah.
Now hold on, before we let him go, there was a part of the question we answered the awkward sex question, but Ephraim Guzman had a Halloween question.
Yeah.
Oh.
How would you guys make a Halloween series different? How would you make it different? What would you do? What would you do?
Oh, he's right. You're right. And
if you got to range to Halloween
Ephraim's
now,
great. He's great. Ephraim's great. How or would we?
Dave? What would you do, Dave?
I'd remake Halloween 3 and I make all the masks Michael Myers masks and all the robot guys Michael Myers. There we go.
Yeah, that's a great way. I love that concept that Michael was just one of the machines, one of the other androids from the factory.
Yeah.
He would be. He was the first android from the
prototype.
factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow, that's a great idea. Now I'm like,
what to do with it other than that, because that's fun. The only other thing is to like lean hard into 6 as a series, like really lean into the cult, do one of those things where you tell the story in multiple generations and have the evil iterated in different ways throughout, and then be Michael in the one that's contemporary, with this cult of Thorn doing their thing. That would be maybe tolerable, but I don't know. It's so well worn that anything in it feels wasted, worthless. I don't know.
I say, Sean, I'm now obsessed with the idea that Michael Myers was the prototype of Conal Cochran. Look, I would go back to the original Nigel Neal draft of Halloween 3. And here's what I love. Here's what I've always loved about.
You never read that, so you don't even know what it was.
Well, no, but I've read accounts of what it was.
Accounts of, yes.
But look, I would say this. I would say Nigel Neal, the mastermind behind the Quatermass films. Whether it's Quatermass 2, 5 Million Years to Earth, I mean, all that stuff, and the completely wacky Quatermass miniseries from the BBC in 1980. I would lean into the Quatermass of it all, and I love the idea that that's Michael Myers was the prototype, but he was imbued with supernatural ability by Conal Cochran, even though he was a machine
from Stonehenge.
He was the prototype of it. And so he has a supernatural element as well. I love this idea. See on
the back of his mask just has a little silver shamrock tag.
Yeah, silver shamrock. But here's the thing. So as social media has and let's just say Halloween 3, because Colin Cochran won.
Oh yeah,
he won. So after Halloween 3, it was an apocalyptic event that killed millions of children around the world. And kind of like Avengers Endgame, or Infinity War, kids were murdered, and nobody understands why. Because there's nothing in science that can explain what happened to the kids wearing silver shamrock masks. So we now live in a post-apocalyptic child massacred world that happened in 1982.
Yep,
which is when. So we're now
talk
40,
about banning Halloween.
Yeah, we're now 42 years on, but Conal Cochran is not dead because he's a fucking warlock, and it's now come down to the fact that Conal Cochran has to pay the piper. Yeah, he did a good job 42 years ago, but he still has to pay a price. So now kids. So what is Conal Cochran going to do? What is he going to what is going to happen? I don't fucking know. But what I would say is that Conal Cochran has to go back to whatever spell he imbued the first Michael Myers robot with that became a sentinel or a golem, a true golem in the Hebrew sense of the word. He, not a man of clay, but a man of mechanics. That Conal Cochran has decided to do whatever he had to do to pay the piper, pay Satan, whatever, and go forward. I've always thought that it was a bummer that we did not get the post-apocalyptic Halloween 3 world where millions of children were killed.
Hard to find the joy in it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there's so much joy in it for me. Kill the kids, murder them all.
Yeah.
I mean,
person without kids.
Tough pill.
I love kids too. By the way, Claudius says, interesting.
We missed one from Signal as well.
Okay.
Sorry, man. I'm sorry.
No, it's all good.
They're trying to keep you honest.
Signal. I'm looking. I'm just hang on. I have to look at everybody's things and Signal, Christopher, Thomas Logan. I don't see Signal. Hang on. I see Mark Spector's avatar and more Claudius. I'll look again. I'll update. Because we want to make sure everyone gets their due. Signal, I don't see Signal.
Okay. Well, I tried, guys. There we go.
Well, I'm just looking. I want to make sure. Claudius says...
Oh, and Thomas Logan's cocaine super chat. Jesus Christ. I don't know what the... Yeah, okay.
Okay, I'm looking... I'm looking at everybody's...
I'm not the fucking gatekeeper here, guys.
Thomas Logan's cocaine super chat. I mean, I see he says the Spotnitz scream is like the first hit of blow. Okay, what he's asking me to do is recreate something I did a week ago when I was doing a show. I can't. I was doing this performative art. I don't know what I was doing. I can't recreate it. I'm not in that moment. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
There we go. Satisfied.
Yeah, yes. I can't do it. But yes, he did say that. And I'm looking at... So hang on. Okay, this is interesting. So Claudia says, Rob, can we have a knockdown, drag out? Oh, we already talked about Eyes Wide Shut. We already did that. Yeah. So, okay, I think we've got everything. We're caught up. Although, oh, wait, no. Claudia says, interesting. I read, could be apocryphal, that Eyes Wide Shut was actually a love letter to Kubrick's wife. Note, Nicole Kidman's character is intentionally more alluring than the club itself. Oh, I completely agree with that. I mean, it might be clumsy, but I think that I think Eyes Wide Shut is a romance. And if you look at, okay, I know you guys, let me just go in on this. If you look at Eyes Wide Shut is a fantasy about a man who is being dragged into an underworld of temptation, and his medical badge lets him into all of these places. And if you look at everywhere he goes, it's all Christmas trees. It's all a fantasy land. And the way he wanders through a fantasy New York and all this stuff, you know, the problem with Eyes Wide Shut is it's not very deep. It's a man who's tormented by the fact that he's thinking his wife wanted to fuck another person. And the great thing about Tom Cruise is that he's like the least sexual guy in the world. And when you watch him, he's trying to deal with the fact that he doesn't even want to fuck his wife. He doesn't even want to have sex. He's an asexual guy. You know, he's a doctor. He takes care of kids. But the transgression that he thinks his wife has made is in his life the problem. I mean, if I went to that club... Okay, let me tell you something that's interesting. Watch this movie. If you see the uncut version, there's a match cut in that film where a girl walks Tom Cruise into the room, and when you see the reverse, her pubic hair is completely different. It's completely a different woman when they go into this room. And you have to ask yourself, why is that? Like, why? And for me, Kubrick is so precise, and I'm like, her pubic hair is so vastly different, and you've made me look at it. You couldn't have known, but it was the first movie he edited digitally. And I would say that every dissolve in Eyes Wide Shut is too long. It was the first time, and anybody who ever played with an Avid or was playing with Final Cut or playing with Adobe Premiere, watch Eyes Wide Shut again, and you tell me, every frame, every dissolve should have been 10 frames, and in that movie, it's at least 35 or 45 frame dissolves. They're too long because you see at the end of the dissolve, you see somebody moving because he had never done it digitally before. He didn't know. The film was never finished the way it should have been. Just saying.
There we go.
But for those of you who are editors, watch Eyes Wide Shut and look at those dissolves. Every one of you will be like, oh, he didn't get it because it was new. They're all too long. They're all 15 frames too long. Anyway.
Fascinating.
I know, dude.
Getting
Come
late,
on,
Rob. Wrap it up. We got 2 more super chats and then we're out of here.
All
Or
right.
I'm out of here.
You know what you got? Okay, no, it's because Sean and Dave. Come on. Luke Skywalker says, "Any thoughts on The Substance?"
Haven't seen
Also, Oasis. Wait, Dave, how can you've not seen The Substance? Sean, have you seen it? See it?
I haven't had time yet. I hear it's great. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely adored it.
I
It's,
did.
I don't want to say anything about it, but I thought it was great.
How much fun was that movie?
So fun.
And I call it the Blade Runner of body horror because of how well it was shot.
Yeah, I mean, her other film, Revenge, her first film, is also gorgeous.
Unbelievable.
It's stunningly beautiful cinematography, with what is ostensibly a paper thin plot.
Sure.
It's just the level of love with which this story is told is palpable. You know that she's loving every fucking thing she's doing. You can feel it in every shot. It is, boy, does she love ass. She shoots so many girls' butts in close up and low angle. Under
God,
the
do
crotch.
we too?
There's so much like delightfully voyeuristic, wonderfully exploitive. That it's exploitation that's so aware of itself that it's art, that it is self-referential, and I'm not going to blow anything about it other than that. My takeaway is, give me more of her movies. Now,
Sean Keller, come back on the show anytime you want.
Yeah,
but by the way, Luke Skywalker says also Oasis.
Oh, the reunion.
Yeah, I mean, look, I would love that. Great.
Give it a week.
Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly. And then it'll be done.
Thomas Logan says, Rob, Christopher Carrillo feels Dave's dead weight. I don't know what that means, Dave.
Oh, they want me. They want me off the show.
Okay. Can I just let me retort? This show is Dave Parker and I. Dave Parker and I have been friends for 30 plus fucking years. You know what? I mean, he taught me how to edit trailers. He added some things to this. The first trailer I ever cut was for Spirit of the Night, and Dave's like, you know what you should do? He put a swinging thing. Dave taught me how to add shit to trailers. Dave created Babyface. He has edited with me since the early 2000s. Dave Parker has made more money for me and has done more creative work for me than anyone else I've ever known. I would die for Dave Parker. Don't you fucking dare say anything against Dave Parker, because you know what? I got to produce a movie with Warner Brothers because of Dave Parker's vision for The Hills Run Red. We inherited a shitty script from Fever Dreams that we got Dave Scow to rewrite, and Dave Parker had an incredible vision for Babyface. He went and storyboarded it. He went and shot a trailer. People like Bryan Singer and Darren Scott came and were in the trailer. Well, Bryan wasn't, but Darren Scott was. If Dave Parker hadn't had the fucking vision, we wouldn't have made a movie for fucking Warner Brothers in fucking Bulgaria. And by the way, there wouldn't be 88 Blu-rays left if it wasn't for Dave Parker. Dave Parker is a talented motherfucker, and don't you dare besmirch him. Don't you dare. He has done more than you have ever done in your whole fucking life. How about that?
It's pretty solid.
And Christopher says, "Congratulations doesn't mean I have to like him." It's like you don't even fucking know me. What the fuck? I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck I did.
Hey, you know what, Christopher? You know what? You can go pay $16 right now on the Scream Factory website and get a Blu-ray that has a movie he directed and 10 hours of special features.
It's fine that he's certainly everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm just like, I don't know, don't really care where it came from. I just find it kind of funny more than anything.
I'm sorry, but
it's fine because this will be my last Midnight Metal.
Oh,
for this
God
week.
damn it! Oh, there you go.
For this week. So
here's my
Dave, not because I know Robert.
Here's my problem with the world. You know what? Sean Keller.
Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I'm just sort of like, I don't know what the fuck.
I want to thank Sean Keller for coming on this channel and sharing.
Amazing guest.
Amazing guest.
Hey Rob, we're on. I mean, sound band.
Bandcamp. There we go. There's one of the albums. Here's another album, and here is a third album. And would you know it? Would you know there's actually a fourth album? And if you look up Sean Keller too,
the fourth album. The third album is the one that's 3D.
The confusion.
Sean Keller too on Bandcamp for $6.66. You can download each individual album. I don't know what $6.66 is times 4, but it's money you can afford. Go to Bandcamp right now. Sean Keller 2. Go to Bandcamp. Download all 4 Halloween records. And by the way, if you don't
love joy. You don't
No.
love
You know what's going to happen? Connell Cochran is going to take your
Halloween,
fucking soul.
Halloween, and you don't like happiness if you don't. There you go.
At the very least, you'll get the Silver Shamrock jingle stuck in your head for the entire fucking month if you don't buy it.
Yeah, and you know what? You're going to be like that chick who has a misfire. Your teeth are going to get exploded outward, and cockroaches are just going to come out of your face. Go by Sean Keller.
Get it or else, apparently.
Sean Keller 2.
Thanks, guys, for having me. I appreciate being on. This is a blast.
For spending so much time.
Sean, you know what I want to say? Thank you for cogent discourse. Really, you added a lot to this discussion, and thank you so much. And it was great to have you here.
Thank you, sir.
We're gonna let Sean go, but Dave, you're gonna still be here. I'm gonna let Sean go. I'm gonna
we both need to go. God,
well,
we
yeah.
gotta go.
Okay. So do I. I have to cut more stuff.
Yeah, so do I. We're busy people. No offense to everyone. Thank you all for sticking in here. All of you, every single one of you.
I don't understand why people don't like you though. I don't get it.
I don't know either.
You're a very handsome man.
Well, that doesn't do it for everyone. Maybe I'm not his type. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, Rob. You know, we live and learn.
Really? Do we live and learn?
No. Well, maybe
since I was 12, I was waiting to live and learn. I don't know.
Maybe we don't learn, but we live. And the bottom line is look, people go, oh, why do you bring attention to these people? And why are you giving? Even he's going, why are you bringing attention? Just leave me alone and everything. But I find it fascinating when someone does that, and then they take the time to say, crappy things and how much they hate my demeanor and my opinions. And I was pretty sedate and quiet tonight.
I thought. By the way, Sean. Can I just say Sean was great. Sean was a terrific guest,
absolutely amazing. But then
that was your idea. You brought him on. You brought all the guests on this show.
But it's your show, Rob.
No, it's not. I'm the host, but this is our show. It's our show, Dave.
No, I know, but some people just want to hear you talk, and that's fine, and I get it. And I'm not.
They can hear me talk on observations.
I'm not here to please everyone. I'm here. You afforded me to bring on this. We get to have these cool conversations. We get to talk about stuff, and I fucking love it. And thank God, other people do too.
Awesome. Look, I have to say, Dave, this is great show, and Sean Keller was a great guest, and I hope everyone goes to not Spotify, but Bandcamp. Go to Bandcamp, look up Sean Keller 2, and it's only $6.66. And by the way, can I say to everybody, you know what? He does the work, and I'm in a position where I have spent 6 months, actually a year now, of my life trying to do True Noir. And I'm in a position where we're going to charge like $2.99 for every episode. I think it's very fair. I've spent so much time. I mean, if it's going to be pirated or people are going to share we can't make another one. We have to make the money. We have to, and I think $2.99 an episode for a 7-hour journey is pretty good. I spent I've put everything. Look, I've talked mad shit on this channel about creating great storytelling. If I suck, if this isn't great, now I will say it's classical, but if it isn't great, I'm a fraud. So I'm putting myself out. Now all I'm asking is when True Noir comes out, if you're interested in my work and what I think is good, it's $2.99 an episode. Each episode's 35 minutes. Please support it, because
Give it
if
a chance.
not,
this is Rob's passion project, man.
It is.
This is his. I mean, this really is in a way your second feature.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And look, I think I'm so proud of what we've done and all the actors and all that. But you know what? That doesn't matter. It's so over budget, but our budget's way below $1 million. But it's so over budget, but I've put my entire life and reputation on something.
Yeah, and
I hope you guys.
The thing is, look, everyone knows this is not a. You don't need to sell it. They all know. They all know the quality of the work that you do.
No, they don't. They don't.
No, of course they have. They've seen it. You've talked.
Yeah. But this is the first time.
And stuff like that. No, this is different and everything. But again, obviously, you get enough people and stuff like that who are in your corner and supporting it, and it's great.
Well, it's not enough. I need the world to know, and hopefully, if people like it, man. Dude, I'm so far out on a limb on this. I mean, well, you know what's really interesting? I kind of like it. I'm like, I have convinced everybody to work for me. All these amazing actors, all these amazing people. I have convinced them, if what I've done sucks, I will fucking turn this channel off. I will go away with my tail between my legs. If this isn't great. Now, there's always going to be people that don't love it. There's going to be people that go, yeah, there's always going to be people that go, well, it's classical. We've heard of this kind of stories before. Yes. Yeah, you have. I mean, this book was written 40 fucking years ago. It's Chinatown-esque. I get it. However, do you guys want to hear some of it?
Why don't you play some of it?
Do you want me to?
Wrap it up. Play some of it. We'll wrap it up.
Okay, here's the thing.
Go full screen, though.
Well, no, dude, I don't have to. It's audio.
No, go full screen, because I'm going to step off for a second.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. I see what you're saying. I will play a little bit of this.
Here's a little taste, guys.
Hang on. So, okay. So, all right. I'm going to go full screen on this. So, here's the thing. I'm going to play you guys a little bit of True Noir. Now, you have to understand this. This is I can't explain how we do it, but so I can explain. So, I would read every script that Max Allan Collins wrote. He wrote 10 scripts. They're 35 pages long. So I would read them, do all the characters. And they, based on my what we call the scratch read, they would add sound effects and everything. Now, so then I would go back and I would direct all of the actors. And the actors were not, a lot of them weren't in the rooms with each other or anything. So I have the scratch read with sound effects, and the sound effects have been all folded down into a mono track. So this is completely unmixed. And I mean, I can't explain how it is not. I mean, as I'm looking through all of this, finding out. Hold on, I want to find it. Oh, here we go. So what I'm going to play for you is you have to understand this is an incredibly rough draft. I probably even shouldn't play this. But this is Michael Rosenbaum with P.J. Byrne, who was in Wolf of Wall Street. But this is a very rough... This is me cutting the actual audio performances with a mono guide track of what will later be a gigantic, full-blown thing. So if you like what you're about to hear, now imagine, well, you know, I'm just saying, it's a very rough version, and I normally shouldn't play this, but I kind of dig it. So I'm going to play it for you. It's Michael Rosenbaum, it's P.J. Byrne, and it's Louis Lombardi from The Sopranos and 24. So here you go.
Who are you trying to kid, Barney? Since when do pipe dreams come true?
Since today, maybe. Come with me, buddy.
Barney's Cocktail Lounge, as it was known, was a blind pig, a speak fronted by another business. In this case, a little restaurant, a one-armed joint. Briefly, he walked me outside and up some stairs off the street. 4 flights of it. What are you doing, Barney? You taking me up to one of them abortionists you went out to? Or maybe some shyster's office up here who can sue the city for me? It was a good-sized office. Cream-colored plaster walls with wood trim, a scarred oak desk with its back to a window. A couple of straight-back chairs in front of it, a padded one with split leather behind it, a worn brown leather couch with sunken cushions against the wall. I ran my finger across the desktop. Pretty dusty.
Well, I'll front you a dust rag to go with the place.
What do you mean?
This is your office, if you want it.
Don't go Meshuggah on me, Barney.
Don't go Yiddish on me, Nate. You can't pass.
My mother had been Irish Catholic, my father an apostate Jew, and not raised in either faith. I had served as Barney's family Shabbos Goy, performing services forbidden on the Sabbath, from hauling out trash to turning lights on and off. Then don't go heeb landlord on me when you tell me the rent.
Well, let's see. For a good patty like you, nothing.
Nothing.
Well, okay, almost nothing. Look, you move in here by day, it's your office, and I can use a night watchman. Now look, you ain't gonna be around some night, phone in, and I'll cover for you somehow.
Wait. Live here. Sleep on that couch.
Well, hold up. Look, I'll put a Murphy bed in, right? And that's not a closet over there, by the way. That is your own personal washroom. No tub, but, you can walk over to the Morrison Hotel for a shower.
Barney bunked at the Morrison.
Hey, and look at this. No cover charge for the local color. You're welcome.
Actually, it's music to my ears. I wouldn't take this dump without it.
So, do I have a night watchman?
You always were a soft touch, Barney. Half of Maxwell Street owes you money. I don't mean to be a leech.
Ah, come on, you're doing me a favor. When can you move in?
As soon as I break it to Janie. She doesn't know yet I quit the PD. Then I'll have to lean on my Uncle Louie to get a private ops license.
You kidding me? A charmer like Nate Heller should have no trouble.
You want a kiss, or will you settle for a handshake? We shook, and he invited me back to his blind pig for a nightcap. The black of night had settled around the city's gray. A light snow swirling, making it damn near lovely. All was right with the world, but for one thing. Shot in the neck and twice in the back, and Frank Nitti fools us all. Lives through it, at least for now.
You don't figure he blames you, do you?
One can hope. Why would he blame one of the 3 cops who roused at his betting parlor and shot him 3 times? That's just 1 bullet per cop. Oh, hell. Look who just came in. Sergeant Harry Miller's Coke bottle glasses were fogged up again. He parked himself at our booth like a truck and cleaned the lenses off with a hanky. He gave me a sideways nod as he put the specs back on.
You're coming with me, Heller. Let's go.
Why? Is it visiting hours at Nitty's hospital room? Go to hell, Miller. Miller leaned in and grabbed my arm.
Come on, Hella. Be a good boy.
I don't think so. This is where I came in.
Hey, Harry. Now you don't take your hand off my friend. I'm gonna land you on your lard ass.
Okay. Doesn't have to be not friendly, Hella. Mayor Cermak wants to see you. Understand? Now are you coming or what?
Wasn't much of a walk from the Blind Pig to the Congress Hotel. Just follow the L up Van Buren a few blocks. We went in the alleyway, rubbing shoulders with mops and buckets. Went up the service elevator.
Anyway, that's a little taste.
Nice. I didn't hear a single bit of it. So everyone has heard more than I have, which I've heard nothing. But you play it, but we're on a delay and I can't hear it. So
yeah, well, that was it's very, I mean, it's very rough. It's completely unmixed. It's guide tracks. It's just, you know, dialogue, edited things, and you can hear that was 3 actors. That was Michael Rosenbaum. That was P.J. Byrne as Barney Ross, and that was Louis Lombardi as Sergeant Harry Miller. So there you go. And dude, I'm so excited about all of it. And when you hear it, I think you're gonna dig it.
I can't
but
wait.
Who knows? I mean, for me, like I drive a Toyota Prius. One of the things I love about my Prius is the sound system. It's really great, and it sounds terrific in the car. And
Rob,
when you,
if this is making you happy, it's going to make a lot of other people happy.
maybe, but it's just an audio drama. But I will say this: the actors are incredible. So, you know, hopefully look, I'm very proud of it because it's the first time in my life I've actually done something that I've conjured up and then I've been able to direct and all this. So, but if I fuck it up and if you don't like it, it's my fault. I mean, to me, it's the first thing I've ever done that it's 100% Rob Burnett. And if it's not good, it's my fault. You can't blame anyone but me. And you know what? There's something liberating about that. Because even Free Enterprise, I was working with Mark and Dan Bates and Alan Kaufman and Mark Gottwald, and I had to, you know, I couldn't, and we had such a ridiculously compressed schedule. I mean, I was able to do a lot of things, but this in particular, I mean, my favorite thing has been directing the actors and getting the performances. So if people don't like it, it's my fucking fault. You can completely come after me for all the mad shit I talk on YouTube. If you guys don't like this, well, come after me and say, fuck you, Rob, you're full of shit. You know, I mean, and Dave, I think we should celebrate The Hills Are in Red. And the fact that Scream Factory is having their big sale, and they are running out. They have 88 copies. I mean, when I saw it was like 94 or whatever. I bought 5.
I need to buy a few for myself.
So you know, one of the other things I'm most proud of in my entire life is you and I collaborating on The Hills Are in Red. I mean, you know, we had an opportunity brought to us by the guys from Fever Dreams. You know, they came in and to give credit where credit is due, because of Dan Schweiger, he pointed them in our direction. Not
just him though. That's the thing, Dan. I'm appreciative that Dan did that, and he knew one of the producers, and was definitely one of the bigger people who, you know, guided those guys to us.
Sure.
But there were other people that they met too that also suggested us.
Yeah, well, that's good. I would say that for me, back in the day when we were getting a lot of money and the work we'd done, you were doing work, and we were in New Zealand and all the stuff we'd done, the desire was to make a movie. And we were offered this opportunity, and I threw it to you. I said, look, you know, I wanted to produce a film. That was my desire.
Well, remember, I mean, the true history is we got 2 scripts. You related more to Wicked Lake.
Yeah, but we weren't gonna Yelena was gonna, but they weren't gonna. Yes, I related more to Wicked Lake, but
it was, I mean, look, the bottom line is we do what we've always done, which is we did the work.
yeah, we did the work.
did the
But I gotta hand it to you. I mean, they didn't want us to make 2 movies, and by the way, they started to question me. I mean, what was so funny was I'm like, okay, we have to have production insurance. Like, I can't even have people, but whatever. The fact is, the Hills Run Red was your thing, but you took it and ran with it, and you did amazing. You had Mike Broom doing storyboards. What did I tell you? I said, you have to cut this together. You have to do this thing. And I told you that we have to make this like a TV commercial. And you fucking, dude, you rallied, man. You got all those storyboards done. You cut them together. You even animated them. By the way, if you buy The Hills Run Red disc, you can see what Dave had done because we have the entire story right there. You can watch it.
No, we were very lucky. I mean, even with that proof of concept trailer, we got Joe Bashara who did the music for it. Joe Bashara, who's now gone on to score Insidious, part of Aquaman, The Conjuring.
Oh my God.
So many movies. He did the music for that piece,
And I have to say, I mean, I have to give it up to. And by the way, I will never stop defending Bryan Singer. Bryan Singer came to the shoot, and he saw what Dave had done, and I explained to him, what we were doing, and Bryan Singer opened the door. He's like, this is so funny. He was actually, I was on the set of a pilot that did not go, called Football Wives. That was about it was
Football Wives. Yeah, it was a remake of the
and it's just the NFL didn't want to do it, but he directed it, and I was there on the set, and I showed him the trailer, that we had done, and he's like, he says, "Why aren't you making this at Warner Brothers?" I was like, "Oh, okay, I'll just call up Warner Brothers." Like, "Hello, Warner Brothers. Let's Dave Parker and I," and he goes, "Look," he leaves his trailer, and he makes a phone call, and he comes back and he goes, "Okay, so you have to call Diane Nelson, who I'd worked for Diane Nelson for 2 years on Superman Returns, doing all kinds of stuff, so she knew who I was." And Brian was like, "Diane Nelson's expecting your call," and she was now the president of Warner Premiere. And you and I go in and we show the trailer that you had made. And by the way, Brian loved that trailer. He loved what you did. That's why he made the phone call. And so we go in there, and we have Dave Scouse rewritten script. And 2 weeks later, they're like, "Yeah, we want to make this movie."
The glory days when that could happen.
Well, I mean,
it'd be nice to have that happen again sometime.
Well, look, dude, it already happened to us once, and I have to say, it took 3 years. I mean, the girl I was dating at the time, Mary Forrest, who everyone knows I was madly in love with this girl. I'm madly in love with her. Madly, and even she took photos.
Bad business.
No. So 6 months into this, she's like,
guys, hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt, Rob. I know it annoys people when I do that, but this Mary Forrest thing, we're some skeletons are coming out of the closet here. What would you guys say about a woman who constantly dogs and belittles someone? Is that worth sticking around with? Because to me, it's not.
Look, she's not wrong. I haven't even talked to her in years, but you know what? I loved her so much. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But even she, who took still photographs on our sheet, she's like, "Aren't you bored of this project yet?" Okay, my favorite thing about that was I negotiated a second business class plane ticket to Bulgaria, that was taken out of my fee. She didn't want to go. It's like, it'll just be about you. I'm like, no,
Jesus Christ,
let's
you
go.
should
Let's
just
go.
be-
Dave, you went to Italy. I was like, I'm going to go to Italy with Mary. And we'll go, whatever. It's fun. I lost $5,000. It's fine. Whatever.
Yeah. Wait, quickly. Sorry. 66 Starship Alien says the Hills Blu-ray sold on Amazon as A1. Yeah, unfortunately, Scream Factory is Region 1, and it can't be played in Australia unless you have an all-region player. I assume that there is, not with all the extras, but I assume that there is all some version of the Hills over in Australia. I don't know.
Well,
sorry.
I mean, yeah,
Sorry.
no.
Sorry. I mean, at this point, we probably could.
By the way,
Diddy loved it too. Loved what? Loved my movie. Great. I wish I got money from him if he loved the movie. I'm sorry. What's that mean? Oh, there's so many. There's so much hate, Rob. There's so much hate. But let's move on to let's end this on a more positive note. So this week, one thing that was exciting was the Nosferatu full trailer.
Oh my God, dude. Okay, first of all, I am such a Robert Eggers fan.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'm hiccuping.
So I thought look, you know what I really love about the trailer that they're doing is they are not showing him. They're not showing Nosferatu.
I love it.
They're being very coy about it, and I think that's really cool. So to me, it's like after this full trailer came out, I'm like, I don't need to see anymore. I'm just gonna wait now. I'm not gonna watch anymore. I just want to see it in the theater.
Dude, I'm with you. I mean,
Because The Northman became like one of my favorite movies. The Northman might be my favorite Robert Eggers movie.
Well, I here's the thing. I mean, to me, Robert Eggers has made 3 movies. He made The Witch, he made The Lighthouse, and The Northman.
And they're all fascinating.
Dude, they're all bangers. I mean, and for me, the only reason I want to see movies is if there's some kind of intellectual component. I don't mean like, really, you're going to talk about like Foucault's, like whatever. No, I'm not.
That's interesting. You need an intellectual thing to grab you because
I need some reason to watch these movies, and Robert Eggers gives that to me. Like
he might. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't mean to talk over you. Sorry.
Come on, dude. Talk over me all you want. God damn it.
I'm so self-conscious now because
fuck all that. Fuck these people.
But to me, especially with the trailer and everything, it's always the mood and the look that pulls me in.
Oh yeah,
and this movie does that. Now when I see the movie and I get more, that's great.
Yeah, I yes, 100%. I mean, but here's the thing. For me, what I love about what I saw with like, if you're making a Nosferatu movie, you're leaning into classical horror. You can't reinvent Nosferatu because Nosferatu, the name itself is locked in the silent movie era. There's only okay, Klaus Kinski. I understand. I get it. But you've got 2 things you're going to do. So you have to subvert both of them. And Robert Eggers can do that. And when I watched the trailer, I was like, okay. Because of all the modern filmmakers, of all the people working in cinema now, I think Flanagan's great. Flanagan's great in terms of horror. But Robert Eggers can create mood like no one else. He can create that, man. He can make you fucking believe. He will take you, like he'll make you walk on like earth, you know.
I think we all do.
Fuck you. No, but he will fuck you up. He will. Come on, dude. Robert Eggers knows what's up. He is so good.
No, look. He's incredibly interesting, and to be, and the nice thing is that he is being afforded the financial backing to create his vision in a very
Oh
interesting
yeah,
way,
yeah,
which
totally.
is really cool. You know, wait, I gotta mention this though. Do you know what I watched? I watched a couple things on Luc Besson's Dracula.
What?
Luc Besson is doing a Dracula movie with Caleb Landry Jones playing Dracula, playing Vlad the Impaler. And the interview that Caleb Landry Jones, who played Banshee, if you guys don't know, from X-Men First Class, great actor. But when he was doing the interview, he was doing it all in a Romanian accent. He was in character. It was fascinating.
My God.
It was fascinating.
Dave, people are firing in super chats still. The Phantasmagorium show says the act of doing art and not just talking about it is amazing. Here's to you and True Noir and my novel Colliders. Well, that's very nice. That's very nice of you guys to say. I mean, I have to say, look, I talk about True Noir a lot, and it's the funny thing for me is that, yeah, it's an audio drama. However, I've directed 25 actors that I would kill to have in a movie. Kill to have in a movie. I mean, oh my God.
Let's say this. I'm sure you're using William Sadler better than Salem's Lot did.
Oh, yeah. No, I can guarantee you that. I mean, dude, I can't. Look, I played something on the show, PJ Byrne, and by the way, it's so rough. It was so rough what I played. But I have to tell you, dude, I'm so excited about this. I mean,
but yeah, because you're making a movie. You're just making an audio movie.
Yeah, I'm making an audio movie.
Which in a way, look, the reality is that's more challenging because you have to sonically create the world and everything in it for people to be able to imagine in their head. So,
yeah,
and in that sense, the power of a really good audio drama in some ways can be more powerful than a movie because you're stimulating and using the listener's imagination.
It's really interesting because it's like, okay, if people are walking across a room, how much do you do that with just sound? Right. And how much do you use score? Like, we have an audio drama that has 5 hours of original score. That's fucking crazy. But for me, as you are like, you got to go to a foreign country. Was it Corsica? Where'd you go?
Sardinia.
So you got to go to Sardinia and direct a film. Yeah. As many people, I mean, think about that. Most people lead lives of quiet desperation. I mean, yeah, of course, you've never made Apocalypse Now, but you got to go to Sardinia and direct a horror film it's on Tubi. It was for Tubi.
It's for Tubi. It's on Tubi now. I was there a year ago right now.
Okay, dude. You went to Sardinia, a fucking island, unbelievable.
Off the coast of Italy, yeah, beautiful place.
I mean, at the end of the day, we live in a world where all of this is content. How amazing is it that you got to go do that?
It was great. I mean, the experience and the adventure of it was fantastic. Yeah. I mean, the movie is it's not one of these passion projects, and not to belittle the movie, proud of the movie and what it is and what we did with what we had, but
well, sure. I mean, look,
but I did. Look, but what I'm saying is, I didn't create the script. It's like, that's the thing that a lot of people don't, recognize or realize is with the Robert Eggers of the world, and there's few who get to just generate their own. I
Dave,
want to do this, and then they go, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, Dave. My point was not that.
I'm saying, but it was a fantastic experience.
Yeah.
I went for the adventure of it.
But
To
my
go to a
point,
foreign country.
but also
Sorry.
the film's pretty good.
Thank you.
And I have to say that here's the thing. All of us, we all think movies have to be Academy Award winning. Like we grew up loving genre cinema, low budget.
I
never
aspired to Academy Award winning. I just want to make money
right,
doing it.
no, that's not true.
No,
It's not true.
I want to make cool, good shit. But
Yeah,
look,
dude, you wanted it. No, that's not like me.
The reality is, you got to make a living.
Of course. But I would say you added to a genre. You did something cool. It was awesome what you did. And look, I'm so proud of what we did for Hills Run Red. I'm so proud that we're still friends after 30 plus years. We've done a lot of great stuff that, by the way, has been resurrected. Whether it's Valley Girl, whether it's Usual Suspects. I mean, all the stuff we've done, Hills Run Red.
And the nice thing is, especially with the stuff that we did, with the retrospective documentaries, or the current one, with the Superman Returns and stuff like that, that stuff actually surprisingly holds up pretty well.
Oh my God, dude! I mean,
really well. It's an entertaining watch. Which it's like you because the thing is, we're moving so fast, we don't really have much time to really step back and go, well, is this really paced right? We don't
have time. I mean, dude, they wanted to throw us off Superman because people don't remember, and no one remembers this. People like Alec Peters, if you remember this, Brian made us. He said we will not release our material unless he was paid for certain things and all this. It was a big deal. I mean, it wasn't our thing, whatever. And we look. Would I have liked to have had a month more? Sure.
Yeah, we would have made it that much tighter. We would have been able to get that much more in it. And
but by the way, we were supposed to get a third disc too.
Yeah, the problem was, deadlines and everything else. And then the bottom line is that the movie didn't perform the way they hoped.
Well, that was it.
And that's the thing. In some ways, I think the documentary is a more fascinating look than the actual movie.
By the way, our documentary and our documentary, you and I, that fucking documentary rules. It's really good.
Yeah.
So,
well, Rob, I gotta go because I do still have to work like you do, but I'm gonna throw a question to you that you can go full screen on.
Oh my
probably
God.
Talk on a little while. Rob, did you go to New Zealand for the Lord of the Rings documentary? And I'll leave you with that, but we will be back with Midnight Metal probably around Halloween time. Probably figure out a time right around Halloween, I think. I'll be on mushrooms. We'll be on psychedelics. We'll be fucking going. It's going to be amazing.
I just want great cocaine, which I can't get anymore. Fuck. I don't trust anyone. All right, Dave. So I have to answer that question?
Yeah, you do. You have to answer that question after I leave. Did you go to New Zealand for the Lord of the Rings?
Okay.
The OG Lord of the Rings. Only ones that count.
Okay, I will have an answer to that.
I bet you will.
Okay. All right, Dave. Yeah, well, I've let Dave go. So, go away, Dave. All right, so I don't know why this question was asked, but I will answer it. So the question is, it remains, did I go to New Zealand to work on the Lord of the Rings, I would assume, special features? Hang on, I just want to make sure that I get rid of Dave Parker and make sure he's gone. The answer is yes. So Here's here is my explanation. If you want to ask this question, it's wow, it's such an interesting question. So here's a story. You want me to tell you a story? I'll tell you a story. So my friend Kevin Rubio, I was editing promos for the Kids WB at Warner Brothers in 1999. And I was making a lot of money. I was making a lot of good money. And Kevin was he would write these amazing things. So what Kevin would do is find snippets from different shows, whether it's Pokemon and he would write scripts, and I would have to like make the characters say what he said. And my favorite, by the way, the thing that Kevin Rubio wrote that my favorite was a phone conversation where Superman calls Batman. It's like ring ring, and Batman picks up the phone, and Superman was like, "Listen, I'm not cool. No one thinks I'm cool. I'm not cool." And Batman was like, "Oh yes, Clark, you're very cool. You're so cool. You're amazing. You're amazing. Oh, what's your problem? Come on, stop." And then they hang up the phone. And then Robin looks at Batman and goes, "Did he buy that?" And Batman's like, "I'm that good." And it was like the Batman Superman Adventure Hour or whatever it was. I was like, that was so awesome. It was so great. So I was working at Kids WB, working for Kevin Rubio. And this is now November, December of 1999. And I had already made Free Enterprise. It had come out, and it hadn't made a lot of money, and I had no money. So I was editing, and I'd written and directed a film. I'd gone to film festivals all over the world. I got kicked out of my own company, whatever. So I have to like work. So I'm editing TV promos. That's Hollywood. So I was working for a guy named David Hartwell, and we get a call. And they're like, "Can you guys edit a Black History Month spot for the 2000 Olympics that's going to air in February?" And David Hart was like, "Well, Robert, you are you in?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, I'm in." So we start editing a Olympic spot because in 2000 it was MSNBC, CNBC, and NBC. It was like the complete Olympics. So I'm cutting this show, and David Hartwell's producing it, and we make a Jesse Owens Black History Month February spot during Christmas, and they love it. And they're like, "We want to hire you guys to do Olympics spots." Now, I have directed a film that has come out in 99. Now it's 2000. It made no money, but it played all over the world. And I'm like, imagine this. I'm a film director, and I have a girlfriend that I want to marry, and the movie I made makes no money. And I thought my childhood idol, it was like the greatest thing I've ever done. But it made no money. So irrelevant. Even to this day, you don't even know. It's called Free Enterprise. Look up the trailer. It should be the Free Enterprise should be the entire geek fucking Bible of the modern age. But it's not. It's not. Whatever. So I made the movie, and you make no money, and then you have to go back, and I'm editing stuff for NBC. So they loved what we'd done for the Jesse Owens spot and the complete Olympics, and so they hired me. I was supposed to work for 2 weeks. I've had something to drink, and so David Hartwell and I get hired to do complete Olympic spots, and we're given we're at the NBC building, which is not the Burbank Studios. We're given this weird like thing, and it's David Hartwell and I, from January to fucking July of 2000, and he and I cut 100 Olympic spots for the complete Olympics. I mean, it was fucking insane. It was so crazy. Now, what was funny was, so I had directed a feature film that I've traveled around the world showing, just so people understand. I wrote, I directed, co-wrote, and edited this film. And I was going around the world and getting feted and all people, oh, you're so great and all this, whatever. But I wasn't making money. So I had to I'm editing like Olympic spots. It was so crazy. And then I was represented by William Morris, and my big client they put me with was Bill Cosby. Okay. At the time, imagine 2000, right? They have me write for Bill Cosby. I was writing for Bill Cosby. I would go out to his house at the beach and sit down with him for hours on end. And he had written a book about fatherhood, but they wanted to turn it into a narrative feature film that was not a documentary. Oh, I came up with the idea. I did. I was like, this is what we have to do. I didn't know fuck all about Bill Cosby. I'm like, oh my God, you're Bill Cosby. Oh my God. And I was represented by William Morris. I hadn't made any money. Then they had, I'm driving out to the fucking beach. I'm spending all kinds of money. The only job, just so you know, the only job I ever was up for was, dude, where's my car? Told this story many times, but I'll tell it now because we're still live. Why not? So, after Free Enterprise came out, I was offered the directing job of Dude, Where's My Car? Now, here's the thing. The script that I was given was heavily into the drug angle. It was all about pot smoking, and all the characters, the two main characters, talked about weed as shibby. I fucking loved the original script. I loved it. Loved it. Because I love the fact, I was like, oh my God, these guys are going to, like in the Just Say No era, like to me, I'm like, nobody was having fun. Guys are not like spreading women's legs apart and just understanding what a 45-degree upturned tip of the tongue. It was a bad era. It was like, come on, give me a break. You guys don't know what you're doing. So I was given this opportunity, like, you want to direct this movie about, I saw it. I thought it was Repo Man meets, it was Repo Man meets what? Okay, why am I drawing a blank on this? It was Repo Man meets, not Bill and Ted. It was all about, The Great Smoke Off, goddamn, I can't. Goddamn, you know what? This is what happens when you drink late night. Anyway, you'll know. You know, it was Cheech and Chong. It was Repo Man meets Cheech and Chong. That's what it was sent to me as. And I was given the script, Dude, Where's My Car? Was Cheech and Chong meets Repo Man. I thought it was, I'm like, this is amazing. And I read it and the characters in it called their drugs shibby. which I thought was hilarious. So I read the script. I have a great pitch. I go into a room, by the way, only time in my life. I go into a room at 20th Century Fox. There's 20 people. And I am at the top of the room. And I am fucking pitching this script. I'm pitching it. And by the way, I fucking crushed it. I crushed it. And this is back when Ramses Isaac managed me. They got me the thing. I thought for sure I'd crush that. Next day, Ramses calls me. They're like, you know what, Rob? They've decided to get rid of the drug angle. And so they're going with the other guy. I was like, I didn't even get a chance to pitch. There was no other people. There was only a drug. You guys sent me to pitch a thing. So look, just so you know, I'm not some guy that's like, oh, woe is me. I'm not. However, if I'd got that job, if they decided to make it the R-rated, drug-fueled Repo Man thing that I wanted to do, I might have had a very different career. However, they decided to not go in that direction, and the director of Dude, Where's My Car? Who, by the way, I love the film, but that director died of cancer. He's no longer with us. And I think about that a lot. I was like, he got the job. He's not here anymore. That's the business we have chosen. That's what Hyman Roth. This is the business we have chosen. Anyway, you guys, it's time to go. I want to thank you all for being here, being members of this community. You guys are fantastic. And all I can say is come back tomorrow to see Dieter Bastian and I. Let's get physical media. I'll be less introspective. But just so you guys know, to live in this business is to live in a constant state of disappointment. And you know what? We work hard, we work fast, it's a difficult place. And for everybody who supported True Noir, thank you. I think that True Noir is the most, in terms of my expression, what I think is a great piece of storytelling. It starts with Max Allan Collins' script, and it goes from your support. And I can't thank all of you enough. I promise you, it's a very classical story, but it will not let you down. Thank you all for being here, and I will see you. Remember, every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. All you have to do is listen. And I believe that, and I know you all do too. So, have a good night. I will see you later, I guess later today. It's 2 o'clock in the morning. Join us, 11 a.m. Pacific time, for Let's Get Physical Media.